Fox NASCAR live in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's race 2 of 2021 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're on the road course, and our coverage today brought to you by Blue Emu. And when you go road racing, there are a couple of drivers that always seem to find their way into the conversation. The man we just heard about, Austin Cindric, the defending champion, and also A.J. Allmendinger. 4 times they have been to victory lane in the Xfinity Series when we talk road racing. But virtually in every statistical category, they are a dead heat, and both will be really fun to watch today starting up front. With that, let's put in our starting grid. A.J. Allmendinger rolling 6th. Let's go from the driver's seat with driver 16.
Hey AJ, this is Drew Blick in the Fox Sports booth here. We a little bit our starting spot than you had the last couple times you've been down road racing with this Xfinity, guys. That 4.5 hours you had 3 weeks ago in the 24 hours, you going to rely on any of that to help you out?
Well, first of all, man, congrats on Sunday. That's awesome for you guys. So really happy for you. Congratulations on that. And no, Rolex is Rolex. It's completely different. You know, nothing I can really take from that, but I know that everybody at College Racing, we've worked hard on this Ellsworth Advisor Chevy. We weren't great here last year, so definitely working hard to try to make it better going into this race.
Hey, AJ, it's Logano up here in the booth as well. We know you're going to be fast. We know you're really good at this. We know you got a good car. I want to know what your mindset is going into this race. What is your aggression level the first 5 laps? You got short stages. It's not a really long race, but you also have tire wear to deal with. How hard do you push these first few laps to try to get your track position up there?
No, I just kind of try to take it as I feel the race is coming to me. You know, if I feel like I can be aggressive, we got the speed, I'll do that. If I feel like we got to be patient early on and work on the race car, we'll do that as well. So just got to feel the car out. I mean, you've been out here, you know it's slick through the infield. It's hard on these Goodyear tires, but it's fun in this Xfinity Series. I can't thank Matt Collick and Chris Rice, all the men and women at College Racing, enough for giving me this opportunity to go full-time racing, and we're going to have some fun with it today.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to make it fun for us to watch, man. Have a good one out there.
The dinger always makes it fun to watch. And Drew, we're happy to have you with us in the broadcast booth. Even though you're a rookie, you've been around NASCAR forever. And of course, your sports career started on the wrestling mat. You wrestled at Indiana University, won the Daytona 500 with Matt Kenseth in '09. You and Lori got married just a few years ago, and of course 6 days ago celebrating on the big stage one more time. And we remind everyone, as you look at today's starting lineup, where you're starting today, primarily based off of where you finished last week. With that, we have got some drivers coming from deep in the field. So Joey, how do you pass at this 14-turn road course?
Well, there's a lot of areas you can pass around this racetrack, and you got to go pretty aggressive in these braking zones. You can pass, especially on this first start, you can go 2-3 cars, and here we go into turn 1. This is an opportunity that you can go 3 wide to the top. You can try to squeeze it down on the bottom and try to get through this first corner. It's very, very slow down the first gear. And right here, you're trying to get your tires to launch, and it funnels down into this turn 2, where it's this right, left-hander. It gets really tight through there. Cars sometimes end up in the grass and spun out.
Yeah, and if you don't get single file, you're too wide through the first horseshoe. And that first horseshoe, you don't want to be too wide. You want to have good runs off of this corner, down into the kink. You know, the sports car guys, they don't even think this is a corner. They're going wide open through here. Our stock cars, they'll be lifting a lot through here. Handling will come into play here, down into the second horseshoe.
And this braking zone's tricky. It's not a lot of speed, there's not a lot of downforce, and there's some bumps. It's easy to lock that inside tire up once you turn into the corner and lightly load that inside tire. And then onto this short chute where you barely get the second gear, and then back down the first gear of another tricky braking zone into this sharp, sharp left, slowest corner on the racetrack, trying to accelerate onto the longest straightaway here. And even though this looks like the turn, you're still on the straightaway. You're booking wide open through there. And then you see right here, this is the braking zone into the rear chicane, the bus stop as we call it. You're braking so far back there to slow down from almost 190 miles an hour down to about 75 or 80 through this bus stop. And you got to miss those new turtles.
Yes, we just saw the new turtles there that NASCAR put in after the clash. Make sure the race car drivers narrow it up, don't get off into the mud. best sets you up for turns 3 or 4 of the NASCAR big track to the final turn.
And as you come into the final chicane here, you're braking about where it said Daytona on the wall. Still hard to see this corner. You got to miss the curve on the left, then on the right, and it's all about the straight shot out of here. If you get a little bit off angle, you are going to pay the penalty all the way back down to turn 1, and that's another passing zone where you could get past. So it's all about that final chicane.
I've always thought if you're going to win on a road course, you have to be ultra aggressive. So, Joey, does someone win this race today, or does someone lose it? Because either could happen, and where is the pass that makes the difference?
Oh, man, there's so many areas you can pass on this racetrack. That's what makes it so much fun. There's passing zones within the infield, but then there's those huge braking zones, and those are the risky passes where you can kind of show your nose and say, hey, I'm going to outbrake you. And to me, that becomes about reputation. Are you the guy that's going to go in there and stick your nose in there and not lift, or are you going to be someone that backs out? And I think that goes through drivers' minds as they go into these heavy braking zones, because you have a lot of time. You saw where we started braking into the bus stop there. You know, you're a long ways. You're 2-3 seconds before you get into that corner to think about, am I going to let this guy go, or are we going to go in here too wide and have maybe a door banging fest?
Yeah, you said it's all about reputation, and someone might have a new reputation when this race is over today. One guy that we know loves aggression, Noah Gragson, but last I saw him on pit road, he was sitting idle. Let's get a report there and send it down to Jamie Little. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Adam. Well, Noah Gragson was supposed to start 26th, but trouble early. The car cranked once and then lost complete power. He just got a push from the wrecker, and it still wouldn't start, so no power right now. They just pushed him into the pit box, trying to figure out, they're under the hood now, seeing what the issue is. Not the day that they wanted to get started this way. Regan Smith?
Well, Jamie, there's a lot of inexperience in this field, but perhaps no more than that of Ty Gibbs, grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs, who owns Joe Gibbs Racing. He is making his Xfinity Series debut today. Never been on a racetrack in this series, never driven these cars. He's got a lot to learn. He's got to learn the engines. He's got to learn how to do hot pit stops, which he's never done. I asked him what he could compare this to. He said this is like going from a Pop Warner starting quarterback straight to a college starting quarterback. So a lot for him to learn, and based on what I just saw from Joey on this track map, it's going to be a busy day for him.
And I talked to his crew chief, Chris Gale, who reminded me that he worked with his father, Coy, way back when he was driving in the Camping World Truck Series and his days in the Xfinity Series. I don't want to be mean to Chris, but a comment like that will date you just a little bit, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I talked to Chris this morning as well, and he said pressure was with Kyle Busch, he thought. No, pressure's with the coach's grandson, because he's calling daily, checking up on him.
Let's get a word from the radio of A.J. Allmendinger.
But today's about having fun. You do what you do, and I promise you'll be standing over where you belong. It's not raining today, so you ain't got to holler at me about the doggone windshield wiper. So have fun with it.
I don't know, the way he ran at the Roval back in the fall when it was raining, he may wish Mother Nature had dampened this parade a little bit.
Right, and here's something. You look at Noah Gragson here in this car in the start. Drew, you can speak to this. No practice anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you're not sure how your car's going to run, and this is the worst nightmare. This is what you have nightmares about at night.
Yeah, you saw people stopped on pit road, fixing radios, doing all kinds of things you normally work out during practice.
There are the numbers, race analysis. First 2 stages, 15 laps. That final stage, 22 laps. But you compare the final stage with that pit window, this thing could get pretty interesting later on, Drew.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that 22, the good cars aren't going that far, that's for sure.
On the pole, Brett Moffitt of the 02 for Our Motorsports, coming off a career best last week, second to Austin Cindric, who's on the outside of row 1. He won the race here in August. Let's do some road racing at Daytona. Off we go.
This is the fun part. Turn 1, first time, no practice. Where do I brake?
Still there, covered half behind him. Got the 20. Still there, quarter, bumper. Clear.
There they are, playing good, funneling down, single file.
Cindric in that bright blue Ford able to jump out and take the early lead, and here comes Allmendinger in the 16.
And Allmendinger with his experience, we talked about him running the Rolex race here a few weeks ago, knowing to go to the outside, get that heavy braking zone, take advantage of the inexperience that's in front of him early, and try to keep up with that 22, keep him in sight through this first stage. You see he's already up to third.
You know, I talked to Jason Ratcliffe this morning about Harrison, and that's one spot we probably think Harrison needs to improve on. as he moves forward in his career as road racing. And he said it takes so long for him to get to the front of these races, he doesn't get to learn from the good guys. Well, lap 1, AJ gets by him. That's a good one to learn from right here off the get-go.
Yeah, there's Harrison driving the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing, second year full-time, rookie of the year a season ago when he recorded 4 victories.
And I love this part of the racetrack. You're getting on this banking, and the draft really comes into play, especially this part of the racetrack. That you're starting to go very, very fast to where that draft will help close you in into, like I said, the heavy braking zone. First time through here, as you can tell, everyone's pretty in control. I think at this point, everyone's just trying to figure out where the limitations are, because you don't want to go blow through the bus stop. You know, you see the exit's obviously very loose, but getting in there, if you go in too hard, you got to make a stop and go if you miss the bus stop.
Let's take a look at the 26 of Chris Wright.
Ooh.
Making his career debut in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Sam Hunt Racing.
I tell you what, that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah, as much rain as we've had recently.
That's a team that ran great here a week ago with Brandon Godovic behind the wheel. Inside the top 10 was Brandon. They'll have various drivers in that 26 throughout 2021.
You see this car is just sliding through that turn. That turn's a lot of fun. You're just trying to accelerate, and you add that lateral to it as you go left and right. It just makes it hard. These tires don't want to do 2 things at once. It's either you accelerate, you brake, or you turn. When you try to do 2 things, you see the back end start, you know, slapping around a little bit like that.
One thing that's really neat to see here is Brett Moffitt, the way he's hanging. And he ran the truck race last night. So we talked about AJ having all that experience from a few weeks ago. Brett Moffitt's doing a great job. We watched him go through the bus stop on the backstretch, and he hung and actually caught Austin a little bit through there. So Brett Moffitt definitely had some experience last night that's helping him out.
You don't think it's a surprise that the 3 most experienced guys are running 1, 2, 3?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, Moffitt couldn't run this race for our Motorsports when we were here last summer because he was running the truck race, and NASCAR said you can only run in one series, but he was here helping to spot with Andy Lally, who drove that 02 to a top 5 finish. And we flash back to the story of Noah Gragson, who's never finished outside the top 10 on a road course in the Xfinity Series, and it looks like they finally have that thing running.
And I just can't believe it. You imagine just sitting there watching the race start without you. Oh.
It's such a hole, too. You know, Noah was a threat to win last week and didn't have the result that they probably thought they should have had. Here's the battle.
And this right here, you know, it's just going to be a little bit of outbreaking each other down into this final chicane.
Still there.
And that's where your spotter says to be smart. Because I hit that first one on the left side, the first lap of the Clash, and I can tell you one thing. Those turtles, they should call them Ninja Turtles because they fight back. I tell you, they'll knock the nose right off your car.
Drew, explain what the turtles are. We keep calling them turtles, but there's a reason for these being out on the course.
Yeah, what we do is NASCAR puts those on the course so that we don't shortcut it, basically. And they want us to run in a certain area, and the reason they want us to run in that area is to slow us down. We would be going way too fast for the brakes that we have on these race cars.
That's the 52 of Greg Alding that got out of shape. And
those turtles are fighting back.
A few more problems behind him.
Yeah, and they have to be temporary, right? Because last week they weren't on the racetrack. So they bolt them down to the racetrack. And
you can see fluid that was coming out of one of the cars after they spun out there as they come by us on the front straightaway. He's smoking the 23 car.
Here's Gragson on track. He is going to have to do a pass-through penalty, and that's the 23 of Natalie Decker. But what's good for Gragson, you know, he's only going to be a few laps down. We know we're getting cautions throughout the day. I mean, don't rule him out because there won't be a lot of cars go a lap down, and he might get the free pass, get back in this thing. Cindric, the early leader.
This track is very challenging.
Definitely expect an unknown.
This one is different. We're on the road course.
We're going to be seeing the sparks fly.
It's going to be wild and crazy.
It's a great day to be a champion.
Gorgeous Saturday evening in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the road course, presented by Blue Emu. Austin Cindric started on the front row, got the lead early, and has led the first couple of laps. And we're under caution because there was fluid on track. We saw the problems going to break for Natalie Decker. Guys, tell me your observations on Noah Gragson, who had returned to the track and was trying to stay one lap down, now is 2 laps down. That's a tough break for him because he would be in a pretty good position if all that had happened and he was only 1 in arrears here.
Yeah, for sure. And he's in a tough spot, right? He came out right in front of the leaders. They've already made a couple laps to know where to break. Remember, there's no practice. If he had practice, he probably had enough newer tires that would stay in front of the leaders. Unfortunately, he got passed but 2 laps down, and now it's going to be even harder to come back because he's not going to get the start right up there with the leaders. He's going to have to fall all the way to the tail end of the field. He's got his work cut out for him.
Mentioned Cindric is leading. Allmendinger is second, and paying attention to that 22 in front of him.
That 22 just rolls, man. Like, he doesn't seem to slide around through the infield like I am.
Copy. Hey, sheet. We got it.
How much is this track going to change throughout the night, Drew? Because the sun's going to go down and eventually the lights will be on?
Well, I think it'll change a little bit. Probably not as much as normal because it's a fairly cool day for Daytona. You know, it was 50 degrees this morning and it got up to the low 60s here. So when the clouds come over or when darkness sets, it usually adds some grip to the track. Probably has a decent amount of grip anyway. It's fairly worn on the inside, but yeah, it's probably going to change just a little bit, a little more grip.
That's what crew chief says. It has a lot of grip to start off. I'm in the car. I can barely get wide open, and I'm saying there's no grip day or night out there. Are you kidding me? That's that sales guy again, trying to sell all that grip.
It's okay if you guys argue over there. That's good television. Let's go to Jamie Little.
How about Riley Herbst so far? I talked to him. He's one of 3 drivers who ran the Truck Series race last night. He just wanted to get some experience, get in that rhythm, and he told me the upshifting, the downshifting, and braking points is what his focus was for today. It's working. 3 laps. He's already gained 10 positions, and he says this car is really good, drives like a go-kart. Keep your eye on the 98, Regan.
Well, the 16 car of A.J. Allmendinger running in second place. You would think a second place car wouldn't need many changes, but the word from him to the team is to make some big adjustments. Expect when they do finally pit some massive changes to that race car. This is a new setup. He likes it better than the last time they were here on the Daytona road course, but still not where they need to be in order to beat the 22 car. That is all they care about right now.
For drivers, it's just never good enough. I mean, he's second. We know he's going to be a player all night long. And all he wants to discuss early is that guy in front of me turns better than I do.
They always do. That's why he's in front of him. It always was like that. And it's so hard. Like, we touched on a little bit with Noah Gragson not having practice and you know, not having a car that would even start up in the beginning of the race. But how do you even get better without practice a lot of times? You can't go throw everything at the car and change springs and all this stuff without knowing what it's going to do. And usually you have a few laps of practice to verify a new theory of saying, well, maybe less rear spring or maybe I need this or that, right? And you can't just show up to the racetrack and go way off of what you've done in the past because there's no way to prove a concept.
The other thing we talk about all the time is simulator work, right? Like during simulator work, well, these guys want to be in the simulator, but oh, by the way, those guys on Sunday want to be in it as well. So the simulator time is booked a lot of times during the week of a road course. And definitely, I talked to Chris Rice. I said, you guys weren't very good last year. What are you doing to do better? And he gave me a list of things, and they said they found a problem last year. The thing that he doesn't get to divulge is what that problem was, and that keep them from learning as much as they could have in a season.
That simulator, it's booked up like the tennis court at the country club, right? You guys know all about that. Let's hear from Myatt Snyder running 5th.
losing the most ground to, Andy? Like which corners? Just so I can paint a picture.
Backstretch, bus stop, the front stretch chicane, and turn 1, and all the high braking zones. And I think once you figure your brake point there, I think we'll be right at the speed with them. We're not far off of them now.
Get that 4.
So nice to get that information as a driver. So many times you're in the seat saying, where am I getting beat? This track is, over 3 miles long. Where am I losing it the most? Where should I focus first? And what parts of my race car do I need to focus on to make that part better?
And the one good thing that Xfinity Series has now, they have access to that data. The crew chiefs can look at it, the engineers can look at it, and they can tell that driver that.
Top 5 under caution: Cindric, Allmendinger, Moffitt, Harrison Burton, and Myatt Snyder. Trying to win back-to-back races to start the year. He has led every lap so far on the Daytona road course, and a new name to the lineup this weekend. Was not approved to run the oval last week, but driving the 48 is Jade Buford. He's having a good day, up inside the top 20. Now, he did run the road course races last year. He's out of Tennessee, 33 years old. He wasn't just a racer as a kid. He could play a little football. He's good on 4 wheels and 2 wheels. And he likes to hang out a little bit. I mean, this is not something I need to be a part of. The owner, Scott Borchetta, they met out at COTA, and Scott offered him a ride back to Nashville, Tennessee. They became friends, started a race team. Patrick Donahue running the show, wow. and here we are.
Yeah.
There's 2 things I thought was crazy. One was on that super bike. That's crazy. And then that rock climbing of him hanging. I don't do heights either. 4 tires and on the ground, that's my deal.
Natalie Decker brought out the caution. She did go to the garage, done for the day. First car 1 lap down, Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 0. So he gets a lap back here, and he will restart 39th. Front row, Cindric and Allmendinger. Opening stage is 15 laps, so we're closing on the midway point. pace car is in, and we are green once again at Daytona.
And now we got the big dogs up there on the front row. We'll see how this works out in the turn one as they try to outbrake each other.
Moffitt in the 02 said, I want to be a big dog, and so did Riley Herbst in the 98.
Yeah, Riley's doing well. He's moved up to the field. Another one of those guys that got experience last night running a truck.
Harrison Burton trying to get on the inside into that first horseshoe, turn 3. It's always so hard to get off this corner. You get underneath somebody trying to get that launch, and then you see them too wide through the kink still. It's tough to get through that section, trying to get your rear tires to hook up. You got to do it while your tires are new.
02 Moffitt, 20 Harrison Burton, and here comes Myatt Snyder in the deuce for Richard Childress Racing.
Settling it out here before they get to turn 6. Like you said, Joey, put power down. They don't want to be too wide here.
No, when you get too wide here, the car behind them, that third car in line, will get such a huge run into that braking zone, and that's when that driver has to figure out, do I go 3 wide or not?
Look at Jeremy Clements, single car operation, family-owned team out of South Carolina, running in the top 10. His only career victory came on a road course a few years ago.
Jeremy's been doing this for a long time. He has a lot of experience, very underrated in my opinion, out there wheeling the family car for a long, long time. It's been awesome to see. He's got a win on a road course, Road America.
Yeah, it was a wild day too. If you remember back, things got crazy late. And there's, I almost said there's Riley Herbst again.
Yeah.
No, similar looking car. That's Ty Gibbs in the 54.
Yeah, Ty's doing a great job. He's up there with those guys that are running weekly in this series. Gaining some spots.
Man, first race is always nerve-wracking.
It is.
No matter you're a crew chief or driver, a pit crew member, whatever you are, your first race has your stomach in knots because you just don't know what's about to come your way. All you know is what you've watched on TV, and that's very scary, especially when you don't have practice.
Exactly. I talked to him this morning. Ty's never done a live pit stop. In the ARCA series last year, they did competition cautions, so he's never done a live pit stop. So his eyes are really wide right now, and they're just going to get wider as the day goes on.
He's running well. He's doing really good.
I mean, we all know NASCAR is done in stages, but for him today truly is about each stage of the race. First green flag run. How do you handle the restarts? That first pit stop. All those things are going to be big for him.
Yeah, just like you did. He's going to go down pit road and see a monster sign, and he's going to park in the 98 stall. Go on about 5 more, guys.
AJ's really hanging with Austin Cindric in that 22.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good race today, guys. I feel like these cars are more equally matched than AJ was maybe letting us feel like it to his crew chief, trying to get a little extra tune on that thing.
Drivers being drivers right there, it looks like right now.
I've played golf with AJ. He's like that in life. I mean, he's like that in the race car, but he wants to be better at everything.
That's a good trait to have. Look at these guys, so much experience, dude. They're so smooth, not sliding around, concerned about their rear tires, trying to keep that on them. This is, I mean, even this 15 laps sounds like a short stage. It's quite a bit of laps on this. It's a long time. And if you burn them up too soon, your brakes or your tires, you'll pay the penalty later on.
The glare coming off of NASCAR turn 4 and heading to that chicane is big until it settles behind the grandstand. If you look at the top 10, some interesting names up there. We've touched on a couple. Let's deliver on the 99 of Andy Lowley. Was supposed to be in the 03 today as a teammate to Brett Moffitt and Our Motorsports. They didn't make the field because qualifying washed out last week in the whole point situation. So he jumps over to drive for B.J. McLeod. He's in the top 10. Such a good road racer out of upstate New York.
Andy has a lot of stock car experience on top of that. Ran a few years in Cup quite some time ago, but a lot of road racing experience, knows where he's going. Like I said, the experienced guys are going to drive to the front, especially early in this race.
I asked him if no practice, no qualifying was good for him. He said, I'm getting up there in age, man. I like just to show up and race, and he's doing quite well. We're halfway home in our opening stage. You can't beat the sights and sounds of the Daytona road course. It's official. A.J. Allmendinger is a sandbagger. He said, I can't hang with the 22. But as we hit lap 10, here he is right in Cindric's hip pocket.
In 3 and 5, he's starting to open up his entry and really cutting it hard in the center. Working on that diamond pivot 3 and 5.
Coleman Presley spotting for Austin Cindric will call the shots for Brad Keselowski tomorrow in the Cup race on Fox.
And this is such a fun view to watch. Look at him all over to 22, looking for ways around him, trying to set him up, trying to cross him up maybe on the exit of turn 3 here. This is where I'm talking about. Listen to the motor. Trying to get wide open. So hard to get that drive. You got 11 laps on your tires now. That doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lot, let me tell you.
And they lift big in the kink. The lift and kind of your car can get out of control there pretty easily. It's like a skid pad.
This is where Coleman, his spotter, was talking about him entering a little bit higher and getting that launch, and he's going to probably try to outbrake him into this corner here. And at this point, I think he's got Austin right where we wanted him. And you know, that's just maybe new tires versus old tires. Some cars fire off really good here and go fast, and then on the long run, they don't go fast. And it seems like Allmendinger's got a long run type of car, and it seemed like, you know, kind of everywhere. It didn't seem like it was one corner more than the other. It seemed like they were able to, you know, really just continue to carry that speed. And as you see, another great race here. These guys have been duking it out here for the last 5 laps or so.
Group of youngsters here going at it.
Myatt Snyder seeing a monster.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Drew. Is that all I get?
Yeah.
I mean, Joey usually laughs at my jokes. When neither of you laugh, I'm concerned.
We're into it.
And there goes the move. Riley Herbst getting by Myatt Snyder.
I was honestly watching this so intensely, I didn't even hear anything you said.
I appreciate that.
Myatt getting back at him.
That feels like it's rare to me that you come back and make a pass in the corner down in 3 and 4 on the NASCAR circuit, and now we get our second caution of the day, and things have changed at the front. You saw A.J. Allmendinger jump in front of Austin Cindric. And here's what happened. 6 car of Ryan Vargas sitting idle. Look at that sponsor. I mean, you had to have seen this story. The Big Squeezy, that's the juice brand of Alvin Kamara, who's here today, the Saints running back. He is supporting Ryan Vargas. Great story.
Great name.
Big Ten college basketball comes your way on FS1. This is a big matchup Tuesday night when you talk about the brand. Although Michigan State having a tough year, great season going for Illinois, 5th ranked in the land. You can watch it on FS1 of the Fox Sports app. It all happens from East Lansing starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday night. So our second caution of the day, and the question becomes, what do you do here with only a few laps remaining in the stage? Do you pit and stay out at the end of the stage, or do you stay out here and try to get some stage points, maybe a playoff point?
You pit.
Stay out.
Pit.
Stay out.
I think you pit. You're going to have 2 laps on your tires when the stage starts again. If you stay out, you got 11 green flag laps. Those guys with tires are going to pass you like you are sitting still.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a mixed bag here. Some guys maybe try to steal a point or two from the stage. Not win it, but get 1 or 2 of them. Leader staying out. Your teammates staying out.
Wow.
Now, you look at a guy like Brett Moffitt, Our Motorsports. Yep. He's not running for a driver's championship, so they pit here. So does Harrison Burton.
Yep.
Here they are, Regan.
Well, the 20 of Harrison Burton, you saw him on the left of the screen there. He is going to go ahead and pit. Wants his tires right now. They've worked really hard on the brake into that race car. He's got to get better on the entry of the corners with his braking. The 0-2, a huge break for them and for their driver. They had a huge vibration, likely a flat-spotted tire. Had that caution not come out, they were probably going to have to pit anyways.
This is going to be interesting here. Mixing them all up like this. How hard do you go trying to get back up there to maybe get a stage point if you're one of these guys that just pitted?
And the points are there. You got to take what is there when you can. One thing I'm surprised is that so many cars stayed out. These cars are going to start further back than I thought they would. I thought you can pit and probably come out 5th or 6th if you're the first car off a pit road. It's not going to be that way.
One thing I thought about, same as you guys did, same as us last year at the road course here. You're expecting when they restart, end of a stage, end of the race, a big caution down here in turn 1 or something as you bunch them back all up. So we might not get as many green flag laps as we thought.
This caution coming out here, and we'll get another one in a couple of laps to end the stage. All of this does help Noah Gragson. Now, the free pass under this caution goes to Jeffrey Earnhardt, but he gets back on the lead lap with that. So the only vehicle on track that's a lap down or more, Gragson. Yeah. So unless something crazy happens between now and the end of the stage, Gragson going to get at least one of those laps back as we wrap up this first stage of the day.
Yeah, Noah was hoping everybody came to pit road like you said, Joey. He'd wave around one and then get a free pass at the stage. It would have been a good caution for him.
Yeah.
I told you brought up something really good a minute ago. Old tires on a restart. If you look at the clash, every time one of those guys has stayed out in the front row on old tires, they slid right through turn 1. They slid right up the racetrack. And that's because, not that your tires aren't clean, it's just hard to judge that grip level and how hard you drive in there. Think about it. You're coming up to speed a lot slower than you typically are on the racetrack than what you were. So you're going to drive in further, but you don't have the grip when you get to the brakes. And that's where it's gotten pretty hairy on almost every restart when you're on old tires. And think of the Roval in Charlotte, how those cars just keep going straight.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance someone's going to slide up the racetrack on this restart.
I don't know what I'm more excited about. The last couple of laps between Allmendinger and Cindric to see who wins the stage likely will be one of them, or when they pit at the end of the stage and get those new tires and have to drive back through all those guys that have already made a pit stop. And now we hear from Allmendinger, who will be the race leader when we return green.
Chris, on the adjustments, I'd basically like what you think you can help a little bit of that forward drive, but not hurt the turn. That's where we're really good right now.
Yep, copy that. We're all over it. We have to be huddling because we're so freaking cold. We're talking about it.
There's a lot of joking on that radio. I don't even know how I'd feel about that.
I'll admit right now, I have said the same thing Chris Rice is doing. You cannot fix forward drive and keep the turn in it. When you figure out how to do that, you will make a lot of money because one of them has to give a little bit there.
I don't want to give. I just want it all.
Exactly.
Hey,
You're all the
listen
same.
to some of these names in the top 10 as we go here. Lally is 5th.
Yeah.
Jeremy Clements is up there. We talked about both those guys. Brandon Brown, who was great last week.
Great run.
Josh Williams, who needed a comeback because they struggled so much in the season opener. Teammates Weatherman and Curry. And I do need to correct something on Lally. I said he's from upstate New York, more New York City. So I pushed him into a different region of New York, and he now lives in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Anyway, regardless of where he hails from, he's got a very good race car here today.
Here we go, guys. Old tires here on this restart. Look for a lot of wheel spin, a lot of cars not knowing where to brake.
And guys in the back trying to go forward.
AJ got a good start there.
That's experience. You know, the 22 and the 16, knowing what they needed to do there to get out.
I think those two guys, too, know that, hey, listen, we're the two fastest cars on the racetrack right now.
Yeah.
Let's keep these things in one piece.
We'll keep an eye on the 20 of Harrison Burton. He's the first on fresh tires, trying to get back to the top 10 and claim some stage points. He was 13th at the restart.
And you're going to watch these guys with tires. They are going to start mowing through the field. As you see, some of them are pretty far back. Look at Harrison Burton back in 13th with his tires. This is a situation where you don't want to push your tires too hard because you're going to have to run these the whole next stage.
Yeah.
But there's points right in front of him. You're 13th. You can get probably at least 7-8 cars from where he's at. And
they should be okay on fuel. You can go roughly 18. You'll have some caution laps in there. They shouldn't have to save any too much right now either.
You're talking about to make it to the end of stage 2.
Stage 2, that's right.
You know what you're saying, Joey? I've thought that so many times. If you pit there right before a stage ending to gain track position in the next stage, I'm like, just ride around, hang on to it. And I realize a road course is a little bit of a different scenario, but drivers, they have such a hard time of just hanging on to it and saving. They want to get back up there and claim those points. And, you know, someone who's getting after it here is the 2 of Myatt Snyder.
You've also, when you go back to the back like that, you also put yourself in a hornet's nest. So not only are you going back there and losing track position and your car's not driving the same, and you're angry about that, but you're at the mercy of the guy next to you, who, by the way, he's back there for a reason on old tires. So it's a double whammy, kind of.
I do like how this 2 of Myatt Snyder is able to hang with the 2 leaders. You know, he's been running more road courses, I believe, here recently, and it's starting to show.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, he went over and ran the entire season in the NASCAR Euro Series, gained a ton of experience road racing. In fact, he was top 10 in this race in August, but he wasn't driving for RCR. He was driving the 93 for Sieg Racing, not near the equipment that he's experiencing today, so he should be a factor.
Harrison all the way up to 9th already.
And he pitted from 4th, so the net gain is pretty good here.
Yeah, and he's getting more here, it looks like. Harrison's...
Good drive off
you can
there.
see it. You know, you can see it's a great example when you watch these cars that have tires, how they can go and just out-brake and out-accelerate. You know, when you get up to speed on the banking and kind of here through the kink, you don't see much of a difference on them. But they out-brake and out-accelerate pretty good on those tires.
Man, you feel like Superman when you put tires on. You feel like you're the best race car driver on the racetrack. Your car is absolutely amazing. And then guess what? When everyone else pits, he's going to feel the complete opposite here in a couple of laps.
Final lap of the stage, off of turn 6, now to 7 and 8. This is turns 1 and 2 on the NASCAR Oval. And only a couple of more opportunities if Austin Cindric is going to be able to run down A.J. Allmendinger and win this first stage.
We just saw it a minute ago as they came off turn 6 onto the banking. A.J. was able to leg the 22 car 5-6 car lengths, and that's just rear drive. He has been able to keep his rear tires on that car better throughout this run. But you see, Cindric can run through the bus stop with a lot of momentum. I think it's turn versus drive, and I think the 16 has more drive. And different parts of the racetrack, that's better.
AJ's asking for more yet.
There's never enough.
Yeah. You got to be careful. You know, you feel like you need drive, and then you start taking some rotation away. Well, here we go.
This is going to be exciting, guys.
He wants that point. That playoff point is pretty important to Austin.
This might be a preview of what we see later. They're racing back to the line. There is contact, and Allmendinger spins.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. What a way to end the opening stage. Riley Herbst down through the grass. Wow.
Oh, and you see that grass eat the splitters right off these cars. A lot of damage to both these cars.
Yes.
That is not at all what I expected to see.
No. Watching last year's race, Chase Briscoe
That was Austin Cindric.
And without seeing a replay yet, I mean, from what I saw, there's some, racing really hard, trying to get that stage point, trying to get a playoff point.
3 of the best 5 cars here probably torn up.
And here we go. This is breaking into the final chicane here. 22 gets braked in there really good. All over him. Able to get to the inside here.
I think so.
So
yeah,
it did look like the 16 is easing down, but what's your evaluation as you guys watch that?
You look at AJ, he's grabbing gears. Yeah. I'll talk about it. AJ's grabbing gear, and you can see it pretty clear there. Austin's inside of him just barely, and AJ's trying to rub on him and say, hey, just give it up a little bit, Austin, before we get to it, and Austin doesn't. And
And here's the thing, guys. That double yellow line, you can go below that to this weekend. Couldn't last weekend on the big track, but on the road course, you can go below that double yellow line here. And then that might be where there could be some miscommunication as well through that. And just 2 very fast race cars tore up.
Exactly. Super aggressive at this stage of the race. And that's one thing we talked about earlier, and I talked to Chris Rice about how do you race this differently. AJ's racing for points this year versus last year. And how do you judge that? And that's 2 guys that didn't have points on their mind right there, at least at the end of the race. The points on their mind.
Hey, here's another thing to think about. Allmendinger stopped before the start-finish line. So if this were to end his day, and maybe they'll be able to continue and all that, but he got 0 points there when he could have got 10. I mean, 10 points there helps save his day if, in fact, he is eliminated early. Let's go to Regan.
Well, understandably, very frustrated AJ Allmendinger on the radio, Adam. The report from him just now, it has no oil pressure. We saw the damage to the nose there. Initially, the team thought they would be able to fix it and at least salvage something, but no oil pressure likely means his day's done.
Yeah.
And now we hear from AJ.
You can watch it. It ain't on you. We owe him. That's all let's do it. He's complained about our race cars for years. It is what it is. That's why we got you, bro. We're fine.
Looking at AJ's eyes there, see the frustration. And Riley Herbst, who was in
bystander.
Yeah, and unfortunately he's been able to climb from his car, but he is done for the day. Glad he's okay. Here it is, ending the opening stage. Remember the ending to stage 2 last week when Brandon Jones went sliding through the infield grass?
Yeah.
I thought that was wild. It pales in comparison to what happened at the end of stage 1 today. Austin Cindric and A.J. Allmendinger were going at it. Here's 22 radio.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want that to happen at all. I don't know why you drove me down to the grass. I don't like that. I mean, it's stage 1. I don't want to do that. Sir, I understand. I think everyone knows that.
And there we see Riley Herbst on the hook, done for the day, Jamie.
Yeah, unfortunate. He had a really good run going, just one of those drivers that got caught up in the mess at the front. It sounded like he apologized to his spotter, and his spotter apologized to him. That's Tim Fedewa, who works with Kevin Harvick on the Cup side. And once he got spun around, the 98 got stuck on the racetrack, and all he could do was go forward, and he went straight into the grass and got stuck. And look at all the damage there. Their day completely done early.
He went low to avoid both Cindric and Allmendinger, and when he went down there, those left side tires got into the grass, and as Joey said, just an innocent bystander.
It kind of looks like AJ backed the corner up to make sure he didn't have any problems. He's putting power. He's going to win this stage if they don't make contact, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to place blame on these things, man. Neither one of them wanted this to happen, obviously. And, you know, when Austin was able to exit right on the 16's bumper, you know, AJ's not being able to get the drive down anymore, which Austin's doing what he's supposed to do. He gets underneath him. You're right here. I think AJ's got him beat either way. And then you see him make a little bit of contact to start, and then, I mean, it just...
The old magnet
eventually,
sucks them together.
It kind of works like that, and eventually you got to say, is it my car that's going to go through the grass, or do I have to spin you out to not go through the grass?
And poor Riley Herbst making a last-second decision to go low. It looks like that was where he needed to go. He will be a big fan of AstroTurf on every infield from here on out.
Please take the grass out. There's so many cautions, so many tore-up race cars from just driving through the grass trying to avoid an incident. We've seen that happen so many times. Look at the damage on these cars. The 22, you know, all those brake hoses were hanging off.
Yeah.
They're going to have to take their time to try to fix this car right, because you'll heat up your brakes way too much. He won't be able to compete like that.
But Myatt Snider really did the same thing, going low trying to avoid Allmendinger that Herbst did, and he was able to just keep it on the apron and avoid the grass, and that's why he's still in the game and running second, and will pit behind Austin Cindric. Here they come, Regan.
Well, you see the 68 car of Brandon Brown in 5th place right now. A very strong run for this team. Brandon knew after last week's strong run that this could be a weak spot this weekend. Road racing, not one of the things he does a lot of, so a solid start to the day for them. On the right side of your screen, Myatt Snider, that race car in the high braking zones, needs a little bit of help. He's losing all his time because he can't get into the corners as good as he wants, but a good run for him. Jamie?
Austin Cindric in the 22 has a different pit crew this week. He's working with Brad Keselowski's crew. When he came in, they wanted to make big adjustments anyway on this race car. Spring rubber in the left rear, track bar, air pressure adjustment. But with all that damage right there on the right front, they're going to work on that. They know they have to cut that sheet metal off the fender area. They'll try to fix him up in one stop, but he may have to come back in a second time, Adam.
Yeah, if anybody could overcome adversity on a road course, you would think Austin Cindric is capable of that, but unfortunately, a lot of damage there. Let's go now to Myatt Snider, who had a great opening stage.
Yeah, let's talk to Myatt Snider. Hey, Myatt Snider, Joey Logano up here in the booth. You got a copy?
To the orange line.
Let's try again. Myatt Snider, Joey Logano up here in the Fox booth. You got a copy here?
Hey, Joey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You must be doing all right. You got your best stage finish ever for you. You got a pretty quick car. It looks like your road racing experience is starting to come into play as you get a hold of this Daytona road course. And 2 of the fastest cars just wrecked. How do you feel?
Well, it looks like I've been handed quite the situation here. But luckily enough, we got a really fast tax there, Chevy Camaro, thanks to the boys at RCR. Yeah, we're in the Catford speed right now, so I'm excited for what we can do for the rest of the race. I think we might be able to lead some laps here and hopefully get ourselves in position for a win. But yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a great day.
Yeah, man, we'll have a good one. You got to pick some cars off with some older tires in front of you, and you got some cars that start in the back that are moving their way forward. So it's gonna be a fun race to watch. Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
He was a student over at UNC Charlotte in the university area of Charlotte, North Carolina. He gave that up. He said, right now, I want to focus on my career. getting ready to restart for stage 2 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the road course at Daytona. A.J. Allmendinger made several stops. He was on the damage clock. I don't know where they are repairing the damage, but he did not let the clock expire. Now they just got to get that thing up to speed.
Yeah, that's tough. It's super stressful trying to get that done in the 6 minutes that they allow you. And any penalty during that will automatically disqualify you. So like for us last week in the 500, yeah, that was super stressful. Something you don't want to go through if you don't have to, obviously.
And once these guys meet minimum speed, if they can, as we go back under green, that clock goes away, and it won't restart again unless they're involved in another accident. Everything is cycled through. Harrison Burton, Justin Allgaier on the front row. It's Ty Gibbs, Brandon Jones behind him.
And these are the cars that pitted with a couple laps before the end of that stage. They all cycled to the lead now. They have a couple laps on their tires, which isn't a lot, and they got track position is what they were searching for.
Look at that, Ty Gibbs. Up there in second place, pressuring Harrison. He's doing a great job.
He's been unbelievable.
First race, he's right on his teammate's bumper. Crazy.
The dueling Brandt cars, the 7, we all know, is Justin Allgaier driving the 8, Miguel Paludo, first of 3 starts. He's from Brazil, hasn't been in the series in almost 10 years, but doing a nice job. He's got the 8 up in the top 10. Top 5 now. This is our Leaf Home Solutions on board, riding with Justin Haley in the 11. He's 3rd. Haven't said his name today, but he's a good little road racer out of Indiana.
He is. Chris Rice told me that's the car AJ won the Roval race last year with. Jeb Burton's got the one AJ won the 2019 Roval with. So he said AJ gets a new car. Unfortunately, it's not looking great for that new car right now. But AJ gets the new car to fill it out, and then the other 2 get the ones that win.
Now here's a good battle down into the bus stop. Who's going to give? Looks like Brandon Jones is going to give to the 0-2 of Brett Moffitt down in there. It's just so hard to go too wide through the bus stop, guys. It seems like the best way is just get single file through here. If you go too wide, you're going to have contact most likely, and you're going to exit so slow. You're going to lose so much time to the cars in front of you, and the cars behind you will be all over you again into the next braking zone. The smart move is just to give and go from there.
Daniel Hemrick there, who had the tech inspection issues and had to start in the back. He's made his way up there nicely.
This is the 2nd straight week they've had something to overcome. Involved in a crash last week, worked his way back into the top 10. You mentioned the inspection problems today, and here they are riding up front in the 8th position. In fact, when you look at the top 10, a bunch of those Toyotas up there from Joe Gibbs Racing, 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th, and all of them led by that guy, Harrison Burton.
Yeah, Harrison's got some confidence right now. You can see on his lap time. It's the fastest lap he's run of the race just then. He started this green flag with a couple laps on his tires, so he doesn't have the freshest tires. So clean air and confidence is working well.
Clean air will do anything.
Jamie Little.
Austin Cindric back in 23rd, being heads up just moments ago, asked his team about the extent of damage and how it will impact him moving forward.
Like, can I not push anyone with that corner, or what? Like, what do I need to protect? What's open? All right, so everything suspension-wise is good. That's just the nose that we cut off on the right-hand side. So it's just the right front corner that we cut off there. We did cut the bumper bars, so it is going to be soft on the right-hand side. I think the 16 still running at full capacity.
Really good information back and forth, and it continued on, but he wanted to know where that 16 was, and if that's a car he's going to have to battle later on in this race.
And we just got a report, Jamie, that the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger, the only one of those crash cars that has not met minimum speed, and he'll have a certain amount of time to do that, and if he doesn't, he'll be done for the day. So we'll keep an eye and stay in touch with NASCAR on what A.J. Allmendinger's got to do to keep himself in the game or on track. Unlikely he'll be able to come back and have a shot at this one, obviously.
Yeah, I would have responded to Austin Cindric to make sure we're done pushing people. But
yeah, that's what he wanted to know. Yeah. Where's my car at in regard to being able to mix it up, right?
I mean, as a driver, you can't see it. You don't know what you got. He's probably sitting in pit road. He's looking at the big screen trying to figure out what his extent of the damage is. And to typical crew chief will usually say it's not that bad, so you keep pushing hard. But that damage is going to affect him. But it's still got, he's still got a lot of car underneath him in his obviously very talented on these road courses and is going to work his way back up towards the front. I don't know if he's going to have the car to win anymore, but he'll have something to work himself back into the top 10. I feel pretty confident in that.
It continues to be a battle for Joe Gibbs drivers at the front. First time ever that Harrison Burton is led laps on a road course in the Xfinity Series. And Ty Gibbs, maybe we should have expected this. He was second in the ARCA race here back in August. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series on FS1 from the Daytona road course. Our coverage presented by Blue Emu. And we have a new leader. While we were away, Ty Gibbs, first ever start in Xfinity car, gets by his teammate Harrison Burton.
How about that first start? You know, the Gibbs family just knows how to win. You know, they're just winners. They'll be successful at what they're doing, but the battle's not over yet. Harrison is putting the pressure on Ty throughout this race so far. It's still going to be a good race. It doesn't matter if those other two cars got wadded up or not. These two are going to have a battle all the way to the end as well.
Yeah, we were impressed with Ty when we saw him get up in the top 10, and what he's doing now is super impressive. And it almost looks like Harrison was playing the veteran teammate and let him go there, and now he's stalking him. So I think Harrison might be a little better than we thought he was a little bit ago. Both of them are pulling away from Justin Haley in third.
I like how you say Harrison Burton, a veteran.
Yeah, exactly.
How old is he?
Yeah, not very. Not very.
He's 20, and he just graduated high school a couple of years ago, and he's got all of 45 starts in the series.
He's Jeff's son. He's veteran real quick.
Hey, Joey touched a minute ago on the drivers that wadded it up, finishing the opening stage. It was Austin Cindric and A.J. Allmendinger. Allmendinger now has met minimum speed, so he has stayed in the race, and he will be able to continue. Let's hear from team manager Chris Rice.
Chris Rice, it's Drew Blickenster from the FS1 booth. You got me?
Yeah, man.
Hey, I thought you were going to be okay there, not maybe to win the race, but maybe salvage a good finish, and now you're back on pit road. What's going on with the 16 there, bub?
Well, you know, when we got, I don't know what you want to call it, it's a long season, I can tell you that, but it knocked the splitter bar off of it, so now we're just going to tie the radiator up, finish the race, but we're not done. We're going to win this championship. It's a long ways to go. Yeah, we did have the best car, AJ Allmendinger, everybody Ellsworth of Isaac Colleague Racing. Fixed this thing up to where she was good. We wasn't good here last year. He made it a lot better. We passed for the lead, and I guess that wasn't fair. So it's okay. Long season to go. Thanks to everybody back home. Thanks to everybody at Colleague Racing. You know, we just make it exciting in the Xfinity Series. It's kind of like the internet. You know, the Xfinity. We're going to be fast, and we're going to have fun with it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Really, really cool we can talk to him in the middle of the race like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that if I was him.
and
especially right after that. We got some issue here making a stop and go. The 44 back there in the bus stop.
Yeah, Tommy Joe Martins looked like he just missed it, right? And that's your debt to NASCAR. Yeah. If you miss one of these chicanes, whether it's the bus stop on the back or here on the front straightaway, you got to do that stop and go.
Going back to Colleague Racing, what a good team manager to be positive after a moment like that. I always look at, a wreck or something that may happen, and you can go one or two ways with it. You can go, the negative Nancy way and totally, implode your race team. Or you can look at the positives. Had a fast car, was about to win a stage, really good on the long runs, and try to keep that momentum up as he brought up twice that they're racing for a championship this year.
Yeah, I talked to Chris this morning. He said when AJ decided to go full-time racing, it was his duty to call the race for a little bit, and AJ liked his excitement, and it seems like it is bleeding over and helping AJ's with his attitude, and it's building fast race cars, that's for sure.
What's up with that 8 car, Jamie?
Well, it's the brightest car out there, Miguel Paludo. He has not been in a NASCAR series of any kind since 2013. He races in the Porsche Cup down in Brazil. Now he races for Brandt, same as Justin Allgaier. And Rick Brandt made a deal with them. If he won the championship last year, he'd give him a ride in the Xfinity Series for 3 races. So he joined Junior Motorsports, and this is the first one. Now, Justin Allgaier told me they're buddies. They hang out together, and he really helped him adjust and get back in a stock car. The biggest deal, though, guys, is adjusting with an H or shifting with an H pattern instead of those paddle shifters he's used to.
You talk about his relationship with Justin Allgaier. I asked him about it last night. He said he's not a good teammate. He's a good friend, and he comes from Brazil. And that's where his racing career began, and as Jamie talked about, winning championships now. But it started with go-karts, and there you see him holding one of those Porsche Cup trophies. Great family. Wife Patricia's always been supportive, and his son Ollie doesn't really remember the last time he was racing in NASCAR, but he's 9 now, and he said he's really, really excited about this opportunity to drive the 8 car for Dale Jr. And last week Josh Berry was wheeling that 8. Did a really, really good job before being crashed out. We'll see Sam Mayer driving it later on this year. So some huge opportunities ahead. Your leader in Daytona is Ty Gibbs. Burton, his teammate, is right behind him. A.J. Allmendinger, one of the favorites coming in, looked like he would win the opening stage, and then there was contact with Austin Cindric. Cindric goes on to get the green-white checker flag, but both those drivers have damage. I will say this about Cindric. He has worked his way back inside the top 10, and right now is running in the 8th position. That's pretty incredible.
Tires cooled off.
Yes. Yes,
I'm not sure the driver has yet, based on his lap time.
He's going to turn to the left just fine. He's got that left front fender and that cool right front tire.
Not much downforce, but he's going to have some mechanical grip on that one at least.
That's right. Well, we saw during break, we were watching at least, he got a little help getting inside the top 10. He was running about 10th, and a couple of those guys had problems.
Looking at Ty Gibbs leading this race, he's the 3rd youngest driver to lead laps in his debut behind, can you guys name them? A little trivia here. I will tell you this, they were driving for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Well, the guy next to me, I'm sure, led laps. He was like 14 14 years old.
That was going to be my guess.
Who would have been the other one? Gibbs, that young. Harrison?
Kyle Busch?
It was Kyle Busch, but Kyle actually, when it was in a Chevrolet.
Yeah,
he wasn't at Gibbs yet.
Yeah.
And Eric Jones.
Oh.
How about that?
How about that? You saw just a minute ago, left front down on Miguel Paludo's car. You know, we were watching under commercial here for you guys. He was booking down into turn 1, locked up the left front, and there you see, you lock it up for a long time and flat spot it. That poor Goodyear is not going to hang on very long when you flat spot him for that long period of time. And unfortunately, it is the worst possible spot if you do it in the turn 1, because you have 3.5 miles of limping it around back to pit road.
That's right. Now there's brake ducts that are missing. There's nose splitter missing. It's a long day.
Here he goes down into turn 1 here, guys. Right there, as you see the brighter Brandt car. It's a long time to have it locked.
You know, Joey, and this is where these guys have, they pitted a little bit before that first stage ended. This is as long as they've gone on tires. So your braking points are moving back. Things tires are wearing out, and the track's changing for sure for them. It's not like it was on the sticker tire.
There's cars falling off the track everywhere. It's another one in the grass.
That was Chris Wright off track for a second time today. What's the latest on Brett Moffitt, Regan?
Well, a tough break for Brett Moffitt a couple laps ago. He had the same issue with the left front tire going down as what Miguel Paludo did. The only difference is his happened right at the entrance of pit lane. He was able to hop right into the pits, salvage something out of that. He was running 3rd when it happened, Adam.
And right now he scored 26th. And I'm curious thinking about Moffitt as you watch him slide through here. You know what? He's going to have to make one more stop anyway. So if they can get themselves into that final stage and make their pit stop, they may not be out of the game just yet. Couple of laps to go. 3 remaining in our second stage. Problems everywhere at Daytona. Closing on the finish of Stage 2 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the road course at Daytona. Ty Gibbs, in his first ever start in an Xfinity car, is leading this race out in front of Harrison Burton. Look at the Joe Gibbs flavor up there. Daniel Hemrick coming from the back, had inspection problems. He is now third. Justin Haley is up there, so is Justin Allgaier and Brandon Jones. And now Austin Cindric seventh, guys.
Yeah, that's impressive rebound. And Joey and I were just looking at break. He's running as fast as the leader as well. Faster that lap. So Austin Cindric's coming. You know, we saw these Gibbs cars last week going down the backstretch 1, 2, 3 lined up like that, and it didn't turn out very well. So I'm sure Coach is hoping that it turns out much better than it did last week when they were all lined up on the inside and had a melee.
I'm just very impressed with what Ty's doing right now. Obviously, as the leader in your first race, you're just trying to be smart. He hasn't made any mistakes that I've seen. He's got no damage on that race car. Was patient early in the race, patient when he was in traffic. You know, and now, you know, it's going to come down to some of the fundamentals that he doesn't have much experience doing. We say he's never made a pit stop before. He's got one under his belt now. He's going to have another one here in a couple laps that's going to be under caution with a bunch of cars on pit road. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of things he's going to have to learn. But, boy, for your first start, 18 years old, hey, is my record in jeopardy here if he wins this thing as youngest winner?
We'll follow up.
May have to look into that one.
There's Cindric by Brandon Jones. I was going to ask you, I mean, I kind of indicated this a little bit, but is there such a thing as driving angry? Because Cindric right now appears to be on it, Joey.
Yeah, oh yeah, an angry driver is a fast race car driver in my mind. If you can channel it in the right direction. Sometimes you can get angry and really just snowball it the wrong way, but you know, I feel like Austin's a very smart young race car driver that works really hard at this and is going to figure out a way to make it work. That car's running a lot faster than I thought it would without that right front fender. I thought it was going to hurt him more. Not so much here in the infield section when there's not much speed, but the braking zones when you're going really fast through the bus stop, the chicane, turn one, that's going to hurt him the most. But maybe in the long run, we talked about this before, you cut that fender off, there's a lot of air cooling that tire. And maybe that's just giving him so much turn here on the long run. He's able to really make some fast lap times right now. He's the fastest car on the racetrack by quite some margin.
You mean those hours and hours in the wind tunnel and putting that fender on just perfect might not be worth it?
Cut it off.
All right, we're final lap of the stage, and the last time a driver won a stage in his series debut, Jack Hawksworth at Mid-Ohio, driving for Joe Gibbs in 2019, and Ty Gibbs trying to finish the deal and get it done here at Daytona.
This isn't going to end smoothly, is it? You brought me up here in the booth for my first time, and I saw excitement from the end of that first stage. This one's pretty boring, Ty.
Less drama, and Ty likes that.
Ty whooped him.
He did. Laid it on him in the second stage. Ty Gibbs, your winner. Other drivers scoring points: Burton, Hemrick, Haley, and Allgaier, your top 5 likely pit stops when we come back to Daytona. Can't beat a little road racing on a Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow on Fox, NASCAR continues as Chase Elliott looks to defend his win at the 14-turn Daytona road course. Tomorrow, our coverage starts with race day on FS1 at 1:30 Eastern time, then over to Fox at 2:30. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. And Drew, you guys have a great starting spot, and our crew will be on hand to watch it all unfold. The best in the business. And I'm going to tell you, that camera position tonight is cold with that wind whipping.
And way too high for me. I can promise that.
I heard that.
Ty Gibbs wins the stage. We listen to their radio.
How about the stage winner right here? Nice work, dude.
Congrats, bud. Go to work saving now. I got plenty of work to do. Did great there.
Thank you. I want peanut butter crackers.
Peanut butter crackers.
Peanut butter. He's 18. Peanut butter crackers. At least it's fairly simple. And here's what I've never understood. If you're hungry in the race car, how are you supposed to eat with that helmet and all that stuff?
You're the one that needs to answer that question. I don't know.
I eat a lot before the race because I know I'm in there for a long time. Maybe that's a rookie mistake, that these races are long. You got to really fill that belly up.
I just like that Chris Gale, the crew chief, was all business, talking about saving fuel and reminding Ty of the little things you have to do.
Yeah, you know, and he's got to keep on him the whole time because he's getting excited. The closer you get to the end, he's going to want to push it. He's going to want to jump a curb, and good chance he might get put back in traffic after some pit stops, things like that. So you got to be on him quite a bit.
I saw a stat a minute ago. Ty Gibbs has the opportunity to tie Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, and Kurt Busch, all winning in their first ever Xfinity start. I saw that on the big screen down there. I was checking that out. So that's amazing. You have a chance to be in the record books with the greats of the sport in your first shot. So how cool would that be?
There's one stat he won't get. Joey, you're still going to be the youngest to win an Xfinity race.
Still got it, baby.
And he was stressed about that. What's up, Regan?
Well, everything's been going smooth for that 54 car except one thing. Take a listen to this audio we just got.
Hit your marker, man. We'll talk to you under the yellow. We still can't understand you. Just keep hitting your marker, bud.
They absolutely can't hear a word he's saying when we're under green flag conditions. But you know what? When you're up front leading to the cars running that good, I don't know that they need to hear what the driver's saying. They're not going to change anything for him right now.
Come on, the driver has a lot of important information. He needs more turn and he needs more drive. That's what he's telling his crew chief already.
That driver needs some peanut butter crackers.
I was going to say, just so they got the memo on the peanut butter
not
crackers.
Cheese ones, not the ones with cheese in between. He wants the peanut butter ones.
And you see everybody, limping around under caution here, trying to save fuel. They must be really tight on their fuel window, trying to keep their pickup full. That's where, the fuel picks up most of the time towards the right side of the fuel cell, and trying to keep that full of gas as you try to come back around here. So he's saving gas, staying off the banking. That usually helps that a lot.
The fact they couldn't hear Ty, that's one thing that a rookie driver does a lot of time. His mic is working his way away from his mouth throughout the race, things like that. Those are the little things that when you run a shorter ARCA race and you don't have practice, you don't figure out until these longer Xfinity races. And by the way he was talking under green flag, it sounded like even though he's 18 years old, his tongue was hanging out a little bit. So peanut butter crackers and hopefully a water to wash that down his throat.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the best choice of food, man. I could some kind of, protein bar or something could be better than the crackers.
He's 18.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the things I had on my list to talk about in this race, peanut butter crackers did not make the reel. I really cannot believe we've gone here.
I'm with him. It's hard to beat a good peanut butter cracker when you can't decide what to choose. Unless he's getting the ones with the orange cracker or the toasted crackers.
Can they open pit road and save us here?
You got the calorie count on that, Drew? Are you gonna? How deep down the road can you go?
I don't, but I bet there's a monster to wash that down for him.
Okay, we need to open pit road and bail out this conversation. Regan, here they are.
Well, Harrison Burton, you see him there in second place as he peels off to his pit stall. They were really concerned with making sure they kept that car up front all night long. They felt like they were quick enough last time to run this way, and so far so good. Little tight in the center for him. The 54 at Ty Gibbs on the left of your screen. That race car just a little bit too tight in the center for him right now. Means that it won't turn quite as good as he wants. I didn't see any peanut butter crackers go in the window either. Jamie?
Justin Allgaier in the 7. The focus tonight was to get up there and get some stage points, and they've done that. Started 25th. Just needs a little drive off, just like Joey said. That's what they're all saying. The 18, Daniel Hemrick, same thing. Wants a little bit more stability, wants it to turn better. Really good stop for that 18.
He goes +2 and wins the battle off of pit road. Harrison Burton is second. Austin Cindric +3. And Ty Gibbs came in the race leader, drops back to fourth. And look at the damage for Brandon Jones.
Man, 2 weeks in a row. Tight pit road exit.
Yeah, and just get single file there, and you got to get back onto the racetrack. And, man, what an awful place to wreck. Let's tune into the 54 and talk to Ty Gibbs real quick while we can. Hey, Ty, it's Joey Logano up here in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got a copy.
Dude, your first race, you win a stage. Unbelievably doing a great job. Your car is in one piece. You've been very smart out there. We're all very impressed up here. I'm sorry I am interrupting your snack with your peanut butter crackers, but I just want to know, what do you think? It's your first start. First start in an Xfinity car. What's happening out there?
Man, I'm very thankful to be even in this position. I thought going in maybe I could run top 15 and just kind of hang out back there, but I don't even know how I'm up front. But you know, these guys, Chris Gale and everybody's been working hard on this thing, and I can't believe I'm talking to Joey Logano. Like, this is a dream come true for me. Just running out here with these guys and my teammates. You know, I could care less about 40 laps tonight. I'd still be having so much fun.
Yeah, man, well, you're doing good. I was nervous up here. You're going to beat my record here as the youngest winner, but I hear I'm safe at the moment. But you're doing an amazing job. Keep it up, bud. And we look forward to watching the rest of this thing, man.
Thank you, guys.
You should have told him he could get the record. It would have served as a little bit of motivation for this young driver. Here's what happened coming off of pit road. Everybody scattering, and yes, there was contact and damage. About ready for the final stage at Daytona. Here is what happened leaving pit road. Watch right of your screen. There's Brandon Jones in the 19.
And they're all stopped.
Yeah, it's like they didn't realize where they were going. The 20 and the 54 was following the 20, and
he's back in, Jamie.
Yeah, he didn't say anything on the radio about what happened, but he did tell them right away that his steering wheel was cocked to the left at 9 o'clock, so they're going to work on the toe right here, and they're going to put right side tires on. Very unfortunate. It was kind of a quiet night for Brandon Jones, but I don't know if he didn't know what was happening in front of him, if he was looking in the rearview mirror or what, but he has significant damage now.
Man, you just don't expect it. You know, you're at the end of pit road. You just came off pit road. You don't think that they're going to stop right there, but it goes to a single file off of pit road, and they're in this little entry road to get back onto the racetrack. And gosh, it's just like the worst possible place for something like that to happen. It's like one of those things you just wish you can reverse time, because it's unbelievable. You can't believe it when that stuff happens.
And now our Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford has won 3 of the last 4 road course races, all of them coming in 2020. And when you look at Cindric and his numbers and what Briscoe did at Indianapolis, those two were incredible a season ago. Harrison Burton lined up to restart 3rd here.
It's going to be right on our mark. So what we'll do is we'll run about 5 or 6 here, and I'll let you know what the status is. If you got some gap out front and behind, we may save a little. 10-4, how do you want me to go about that? Short 15.
Gray Galding will restart right in front of him. He stayed out because he had pitted prior to the end of the stage. So he pitted at lap 27. Undoubtedly, he's going to have to come back. Miguel Paludo waves around to get on the lead lap. Bailey Curry gets the free pass. He's on the lead lap. Noah Gragson is now only 1 lap down. If we get a quick caution here, he could get back on the lead lap. This could be huge the way we start this final stage.
And here's the situation, guys. They can almost make it to the end of the race here without pitting. They're right at the edge of their fuel window, and that's why you hear Jason Ratcliffe talking to Harrison Burton saying, save me a little bit. Once this thing gets going, you get spread out. If you can lift a little bit earlier, maybe not go down to first gear and keep it in second. Little things like that can maybe save a little bit of fuel without giving up a lot of time, and trying to do that early in the run instead of doing it late in the run. But I think there's going to be another caution before the end of this thing. It may not matter anyway, but that's the situation that these guys are in right now. And it's always so hard because the crew chief says, save fuel. You know, how much? You know? And what do I do?
The things we talked about with the super teenager, Ty Gibbs, all the stuff that's new for him, live pit stops. And oh, by the way, Ty, save some fuel. I bet Ty has never saved fuel in an ARCA race because he's so far out in front of him. So all these little things that Chris Gale is going to have to talk him through on how to do that. Heck, you were hearing the guy called the veteran, Harrison Burton, get talked through it a little bit just there.
Watch that 22 on the restart as well. He is officially back in the game. Crashed as he won the opening stage. They repaired the damage. He drove from outside the top 20, maybe outside the top 25, all the way into the top 10 at the end of stage 2, and here he is in position to pounce.
I like that 22 car. I know it's a Team Penske car, and obviously I'm going to like it no matter what, but the way he drove through the field and the long run speed in that race car was incredible the last couple laps. He's definitely going to be one to beat here.
Settle in. Final stage on the road course at Daytona.
3, 2, 1 now.
Look at this move. Harrison Burton going down there trying to outbrake the 52.
Yeah. 2 still outside. 22 still outside. Even with the 22. Still there. Still there. 22 at your door. Still there. Quarter. Still there. Bumper. Still there. Back to even. Control the top here.
Listening to Tyler Green, he's the spotter for Harrison Burton in the 20.
It's so much fun to listen to those spotters. You know, you rely on them so much, especially on these road courses. You're on your left side, your right side, and typically, especially into the braking zones. Look at here, teammates.
Yeah.
A little bit of door rubbing there, just tight through that kink.
Yeah, it's a little offset there, so sometimes a splitter to that left front doesn't end up well.
Daniel Hemrick has taken over the race lead on the restart. Galding not going away, though, as they head to turn 6 and onto the high banks.
And he's had a couple laps on his tires.
Jimmy Means' car. It's good to see.
Yeah, Jimmy Means, great racer for many years, fixture in the garage now as an owner, and at 52 having a good ride today, but here comes Cindric.
Oh, don't block Cindric. We've seen this before, Gray.
He baited him right to the top and pushed him back up. You're not stopping that car.
No, and a reminder, Austin, you cannot push with that right front.
As fast as the car is, he might not need to.
Yeah, the rear bumper is all we're going to worry about.
What about that 18, Jamie?
Daniel Hemrick. I talked to him before he got in his car, Adam, and I said, would you say that this is the best opportunity you've ever had in your career? And he said, absolutely. He has never won a race in any NASCAR series, so he thought this is the chance to get it done. Remember, he started in the back, but now he's got a hard-charging 22 of Austin Cindric behind him.
He's finished second 7 times in his career, once on a road course. He wants so badly to erase that stat and win. And no question, as Jamie said, this is one of the best opportunities he's ever had in his career, driving the 18 for Joe Gibbs.
Unfortunately for a lot of these guys, I think this is the chance they're going to be able to outrun Austin Cindric. When you got fresh tires, the downforce really matters. The advantage he might have with that right front tire cooling will come on longer in the run. So Austin being this fast right now is bad news for the rest of these guys.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. That PPG Ford is going to be definitely tough to beat here right now, for sure. You can tell he's just being patient right now, behind the 18 car, waiting for his moment to pounce. As I say, he's patient. He runs right in the back of him.
Well, and the thing that we have to think about is all these guys are close on fuel. And what makes fuel worse is when you run faster lap times. And Austin Cindric is in the gas more than everybody else on this racetrack because he's so good and he's so fast right now. His fuel will be worse than the rest of them. So it could get real dicey for Austin later in the race.
From crashed to the lead. Here's Austin Cindric in front of Daniel Hemrick. Ty Gibbs is third. Harrison Burton, Justin Haley, the top 5. Let's crank it up with 17 to go.
2. Out early. 3 ahead.
Clear. All clear. All clear. All clear. That's what they keep saying. Even. Still by 5. Maintaining 3. He's good by 6. He's on the 8 up ahead. You're fine. 2 is big. He's on the 8 racetrack. By 3. Don't overdrive the corner here. By 3. By 3. You're over there. You're clear. Use too much initial brake. Driving hard. There you go, that was on the edge right there. It's a little shallower if you need it. Good arch, don't get to the bottom too soon. Just the 18, still there, even. 4 back door, quarter, bumper, bumper. All clear. Clear, clear. And then he drove in so hard. Damn. Still there, left side. Still
Hey,
there.
don't look now, but Austin Cindric is this ace on road courses. Ty Gibbs said, I don't care about his resume. I mean, this kid has been phenomenal today. We'll step aside. You won't miss a thing. 16 laps to go, and the battle for the lead is on. Quite the battle going on at Daytona. Austin Cindric leading Ty Gibbs, and the caution is out. 5th time today you're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series racing on FS1 presented by Blue Emu. And the reason for the caution, the 48 of Jade Buford. And as we ride under caution, we listen to 54 radio. Here's Ty Gibbs and his team.
I think his brake fans are on, but I'm not sure. Let's make sure we do brake fans. We haven't. I don't think they're on. They're really hot. Switch is on. Yellow switch is on. Being more aggressive too now. You're just noticing the color more.
You know, Drew and I were talking about, you know, this under the commercial break, that Ty just keeps getting better out there.
Yeah.
Making laps. He's getting quicker.
I don't think he's thinking about what he's doing now. He's just driving a race car, and that's a good thing. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play through donations and brand new gear, including speed-themed fitness equipment for the boys and girls clubs of Volusia and Flagler counties to help them provide programming for the more than 300 members they serve. Text play to 36413 to be a part of that. 14 laps to go, and if I told you at that stage of the race Austin Cindric would be leading and he had won the opening stage, you would say, you know what, doesn't surprise me at all. Won here in August, really good road racer, but how he got here has been unique. And now we listen in on Ty Gibbs, who's running second behind Cindric.
Just be on your toes there. start thinking about your restart. He will have to fire first. We will stay in line till start finish. We'll roll out the sideline there.
You were doing good last time on the green. You were pressing him. He's going to make a mistake if you do that when you go back. So just go back to what you were doing before, and he will make a mistake, and you'll capitalize on it. Doing great.
Good positive conversation on the radio. And now to how we got where we are. What a day for Austin Cindric, racing Allmendinger for the win at the end of this first stage.
And you just see hard racing coming to the end. They touch each other a little bit, and like Drew said, they like a magnet as they go together down into the grass. And unfortunately, it ended up bad for both of them. Worse for AJ.
What happens here in turn 3? This was just before the caution.
He overcooked the entry a little bit, and you got to wonder, without that right front fender, a little less downforce. It makes it easier to lock that inside tire, getting a lot of pressure from Ty Gibbs behind him. And watch this as they go down this straightaway here. They're headed into the kink very tight, not much room. And watch this, trying to arc it out, get all you can get for the entry. Oh boy, a little bit of contact. Not a big deal with these bodies. With our cars, the Cup cars, that's a bit of an issue probably. Could create a fender rub.
Man, Austin doesn't like that right front tire. He's beating on it for about a quarter mile there a couple times. Pretty hard.
Those two getting into each other brought me back to Days of Thunder a little bit, you know? Might see something along those lines tomorrow on race day, FS1 and Fox. So we look forward to that. And I have to say, Drew, you're doing a great job up here. But this is just a preview of your week to come, because you're in studio for Race Hub Tuesday with Clint Boyer. And let me tell you, working a race with Logano is a breeze compared to working with Boyer.
I need peanut butter crackers now.
You're going to need more than that.
I need a Monster and peanut butter crackers on Tuesday.
You're going to need a Coca-Cola.
Our Xfinity fastest lap, Ty Gibbs at the top, Austin Cindric right behind him. Interestingly enough, Gibbs' fastest lap coming just 3 laps ago. It speaks to just how much more confident he is right now.
Yeah, when they started this race, you know, Austin Cindric is experienced at road racing, has run this racetrack. He can tap out a lot quicker than Ty Gibbs could. You know, I made the comment, Austin was about 90% to start, and he's looking for that last 10 throughout the event. Ty Gibbs was probably 50 or 60%, and I'm being generous there at the start of this race. And so he had a much bigger ceiling to kind of grow into, and you're seeing it right now. It's impressive. You can see it with Chris Gale and Hal Martin talking to him. You got to judge that. How much do you talk to a young driver like that? You know, you don't want to overload him, because he's doing pretty darn good on his own out there wheeling that thing.
You should be rooting for Cindric, Drew, because last night Ben Rhodes won back-to-back to start the year. If Cindric does that, it'll just be up to you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's laying up.
Let's hear now from Austin Cindric with 13 to go.
Yeah, the Daytona road course for me is a bit weird. It's definitely strange for me, you know, going from driving sports cars and prototypes and so on that layout. And for me, I've driven a lot of different race cars on that track, and I can promise you the NASCAR was 100% the hardest to drive.
You know, I was talking to Austin Cindric, as he's my teammate, about running on this road course. And he's used to driving those sports cars. And he says, these cars are the worst handling cars you've ever driven on this racetrack. It's unbelievable how bad these Xfinity cars drive. And I said, you went to get a Cup car with more horsepower, but it's just what this thing's about. It is a very challenging surface. Your tires wear out. These cars just don't drive good. And that's why you see a lot of mistakes. You see cars lock them up, you know, the tires up, and flat spot tires slide through the braking zones. It's not easy to drive these heavy stock cars, and that's what's so much fun as a race car driver, is that you're driving something that's challenging.
I don't want to see his win list. I want to see his passport. Did you see all the countries that he's competed in?
I wonder how many of them were open wheel cars, because he's doing it now.
Could add one more to the list.
Going to be 12 to go. Cindric Gibbs, front row. I didn't think it would come down to this, but this ought to be good.
A lot of wheel spin on the top lane.
Half off you, 11 clear.
Yeah, that's just...
Tight to you, square tight to you. Half, he's got a little lock up behind. He's still clear, gonna roll right tight to you here. Might get a little bump. Trying to get inside, you're still clear. So tight, real tight square to you. 3/4 ahead, 3/4,
1. 54 is 2 behind.
You know, Ty recovered pretty well there.
He did. Recovered real well. And that's just rookie mistake right there. You know, he's got a lot of anxiety. He's stressful about the situation.
Here comes Daniel Hemrick trying to get the top spot.
Here we go again through the kink, real tight. Using each other up there, and you saw it again. This all formed back in turn 3 again as Austin locked up that inside tire again. He just doesn't have the downforce to keep weight on that tire, and that is really hurting him a little bit when he's getting pressured and needs to drive into corners hard. But yeah, Ty, a bit of a rookie situation, right? Starting on old tires on the front row, you're excited, you just hit the gas pedal and you light them up. He spun them pretty good. There's smoke off the rear tires, but here comes Hemrick with a great run off of 6. This is going to be fun into the bus stop, guys. This is going to get big.
22 outside is Cindric. That's the 18 of Hemrick inside of him. They hit the braking zone with Ty Gibbs right behind him.
Good job, Ty. Let these guys settle it out.
Lots of give there, give and take.
And that's a good thing for Ty is these two are battling. You know, he had a bad restart there. They start battling. He can get back up there and kind of get back in the game quicker.
Let's look at this restart here. Here you see, you know, front row, Ty Gibbs on the outside. Watch his car when he starts zinging these tires. He's gonna hit the gas, immediately starts spinning them, still spinning them. Can't stop. He's got the whole field stacked behind him.
Yeah.
Oh.
If his teammate wasn't behind him, it might have been a different result. Yeah, I think Harrison probably gave him a break there, realizing it.
At one point, he was like 15, 20 miles per hour slower than what Cindric was. On board with Justin Haley.
You know I feel bad for in that situation? Harrison Burton. He's sitting back there like, come on, man. We just lost all this track position.
What do you have, Regan?
Well, just an update on that wheel spin right there, Adam. Earlier today, that was exactly what Ty Gibbs told me his biggest concern was in this race was the horsepower difference. He had nothing to compare it to as we see him make a really good move to the inside of his teammate.
Yeah, he's getting confident in racing now. You can see it when he's making moves. It's moves he wasn't making earlier when we were watching him. We were still impressed, but you can tell it's kind of going out the window, and he's racing to try to win a race.
Guys, it's every single lap. The 22 goes into turn 3, unlocks that inside tire, and that time you saw Hemrick go in there hard, and they all just opened the door for Ty Gibbs to be able to go through there, get one spot, and Austin's going to have his hands full here.
Turn 6, and there goes Ty Gibbs. Inside of Austin Cindric and trying to gain the track position as we get onto the high-speed portion of this course.
Here we go again, down into the bus stop. The side draft working for Ty. Here comes Austin. He's going to pull him back again. They're going to be close to door into this bus stop. Oh, who's going to take it? 11 to go, guys. You got to go. You can't be giving too much anymore. You got to start taking.
And all these guys racing has pulled Justin Haley back into the conversation. He's in 4th, right behind Hemrick, and again Cindric slides it through there.
Man, this is a heck of a race. And they're all, now because of that, they went too wide through the bus stop somewhat. It just stacks the whole field on top of them.
Going to be 10 to go. We'll step aside, and you won't miss anything. Can Cindric hang on to the lead? Coming up on 9 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. On the road course at Daytona, your race leader is Austin Cindric. So much on the line for him. He won the season opener last weekend. He is the reigning champion. And trying to chase him down, an 18-year-old driving for his grandfather, Joe Gibbs. That's Ty Gibbs, trying to win in his first ever start. And here comes Justin Haley introducing himself to the conversation out front. So many storylines. The racing is incredible as well.
The racing is incredible. You said it. Justin Haley, you see him join the show a little bit here, and it's so much fun to watch Ty Gibbs and Austin Cindric battle it out. Because listen, they know they got 9 laps to go. Austin knows he's got a long run car. He's just trying to hang on to what he's got, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, you see Austin, he was so fast at the end of that second stage. You assume here he's going to get fast again, and Austin knows that. If I can just keep him behind me, Austin's also hoping that the rookie's going to make a mistake, you know, and so far we haven't seen many mistakes from Ty.
And Ty's being pretty timid behind him. You know, it's his first race. It looks like he's timid to lay the bumper. You know, there's been plenty of opportunities to kind of move him up the racetrack a little bit to complete this pass. He needs to get out to the lead while he can, because you know the 22 is going to be good on a long haul. And if you can get out there and get clean air, it's just going to help your long run to keep your brakes cooler, keep your tires cooler, all that. But you just see different parts of the racetrack where they're faster than each other.
You know what's amazing is Austin's missing that right front fender, and we talk about downforce all the time. And the part of the racetrack where Ty beats him is the infield, where it's slow. And Austin beats him to the back bus stop pretty good, and Ty can't close it up because of basically that backstretch bus stop.
And where I see the biggest spot where Ty gains is turn 3 every single lap, the braking zones. He also outbrakes him here into turn 1 most of the time. We'll see if he can do it this time, but it seems like the braking zones is where he's able to catch him a lot. There he is, right to his bumper.
Saw that shot of Joe Gibbs a moment ago. NASCAR Hall of Fame.
This is going to be good here, guys.
He's been in some big moments, and right now might be one of the biggest.
And here's a big moment for his grandson. Ty Gibbs in position. Can he make the pass? Cindric closes the door one more time.
And 8 laps is a long time at Daytona road course. That's a long time. So there's plenty of opportunity here.
His brakes glowing. So cool to see that at night. Yeah, lap car here. And he's able to get out of the way pretty good. And this is where I wonder, eventually, as you see, he's able to outbrake him. Oh, geez, he got contact on the left front.
You know, Austin's making that 22 as wide as he possibly can right now.
He is, and man, you just got to think there's only so much of that you're going to take. You know? And Austin's doing nothing against Austin. He's doing what he has to do. He knows he doesn't have the car to win, but he's been able to maintain the lead and honestly push around the rookie a little bit. And that's how he's been able to stay out front.
Is there anybody else, if it's not Ty, that can go get Austin? Because based on what I've seen, both in regard to lap time and the way they've competed, there's nobody else that can get up there right now.
No, I think you're right. You know, looking at the lap times here, Harrison Burton's running some decent lap times, but yeah, it's going to be tough for Justin Haley unless these two start battling to bring him back in it.
Haley in third right now, Regan.
Well, Adam, I don't know if Justin Haley can get up there to battle for this win, but this team's got to be pretty happy with the 3rd place that they're in right now. That car has not been good the majority of the night. Justin has been screaming about it being sideways. A little bit of a shout out here to crew chief Alex Yance. He has worked hard on that race car, and now they find themselves in a pretty good spot.
Had such a disappointing start to the season last week, bouncing back, running 3rd right now with 7 to go. We check in once again with Ty Gibbs.
He's driving up the track, so he's got work coming here. All good. Keep hitting your marks, dude. He's playing defense. Know what's going on. It's all good. You'll take your opportunity when it sees us.
Boy, you look at the contact they made into turn 6 last lap, and the difference was 1 second that Austin was able to pull away. You know, as they made contact there, and that long straightaway after that, Austin was really able to pull away a lot. But boy, it closes up quick as you see through the infield, these braking zones. Ty's just able to outbrake him. Look at him go into this corner here. Really close that gap up a lot.
And we see Ty's brakes glowing when we see that shot going into turn 3, and that's not a problem. It's just Yeah, like we said earlier, Harrison Burton's, he's a little faster right now, and I wondered if he'd be able to get around the 11. I think he's the only one that maybe can run up there and compete with his teammate in the 22.
And that's a different battle, guys. Look at when you're racing third or fourth, you see a lot of give and take there, saying, okay, I'm not moving forward. You get up there, I'm going to keep my car alive. Maybe there'll be a caution at the end. I have a shot to win this thing. But when you're racing for the win like these two guys are, they're going to have a little bit of contact.
If Cindric were to lose the lead, is it over for him, Joey? I mean, is his biggest advantage here controlling the race, or what are your thoughts there?
I would say if it was an experienced driver behind him, yes, you're right. But I think maybe what's helping Ty Gibbs go so fast right now is that rabbit in front of him he's chasing. He's able to just say, I'm going to brake a little bit deeper. When you lose that rabbit, where's your reference at that point? And you're going to be up in the mirror a lot. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like for Ty being his first race, how that would be. I don't know, but he's definitely got a good rabbit out there to chase right now.
Going to be 6 laps to go. Austin Cindric taking care of business despite a damaged race car and trying for his 3rd consecutive win. Won the championship in walk-off fashion at Phoenix. Won the season opener last week here at Daytona. First time Team Penske had ever won in the Xfinity Series on the high banks. And also trying to win on Roger Penske's birthday. The captain turning 84 today. And when you look at the top 5 and their age, I would say the future of NASCAR is very bright.
Yeah. Old man Steiner, look at him go, 26 years old. It's crazy that you see in this Xfinity Series these days. So much young talent coming up through the ranks. Pretty fun to watch them learn and get better, over the course of years, right? You see it doesn't happen overnight, obviously, but you see them gain so much just in one race. But imagine what 3 years down the road looks like for these two drivers.
Myatt's got that Tax Slayer sponsorship. He might be the only one on that page that knows what a W2 is,
That's right.
And I think what we see here, we talked about it earlier about the 22 of Austin Cindric being a long run car, maybe because his tire is cooling so well. Hard to say why, but you're starting to see that the 54 is pressuring him really hard. And now Austin has a little bit of room to breathe. He can manage his tires. He can manage his gap. And maybe there's not much brakes left on that 54 because we saw all 4 rotors glowing a lot, used up a lot battling with Austin. It'll be interesting to see if he can cool some stuff off and make another run at the 22.
Yeah, I think the 22 there, like we talked about, I think the tire cooling aspect of it really plays off on the long run, and I think we guessed right when we said it would hurt him on the short run compared to Ty and some of these faster guys. We saw Austin so fast at the end of that second stage. We were really surprised anybody could hang with him at all, and you're starting to see that again.
Yeah, I think Austin knew that, right? He made a couple long runs. This happened, remember guys, at the end of the first stage, he's been running like this the whole race. He's been learning about his race car, where its strengths are, where his weaknesses are. He knew if he can maintain that car, staying up front, give me 10 laps. Give me 10 laps of fighting him off. I think I could win this race, and I believe that's what was in his mind as he was fighting so hard to maintain that lead. And it's really, he's getting the reward from it right now with 5 laps to go.
He's going to need to maintain that lead because he's going to be close on fuel. We talked about that earlier. He's the leader. He's using more fuel than anybody else. I think some of these guys in 5th, the 2, the 18, I think they're right on their number. So that means those guys up front, they're really, really tight on fuel.
Well, you don't want to see a caution, one, because you don't want to have to deal with a restart. The other part of that is you get a caution, now you could be looking at overtime, and that hurts you in regard to that fuel mileage. I wonder, though, big picture. This is a big day for Cindric if he's able to come back and win. But what message do you deliver to the competition, winning 6 times a year ago, you're a champion, and you come out of the gates going back-to-back and winning in this comeback fashion? That is really got to make a statement to everybody else in the garage.
No, you prove why you're the champion, right? You've proven why you can come out, win last week, and then you come back out here again. Regan, what do you got down there?
Well, just in case we do get at that late race caution or have overtime, the word to the 54 of Ty Gibbs right before the green just came out on this last caution was we are good by a lap and a half. So that's a team that's in pretty good shape with fuel.
Yeah, that's much better than I thought it was going into this stage. So that is good for the 54. Something the young driver doesn't have to worry about. He can go just try and chase that 22.
And Drew, I think right now if the caution comes out, they've been running a lot of laps. You got another set laying down in the pits. You take them, don't you? You pit.
Yeah, I think so. You know, like we said earlier, with 8 laps to go, it's a long way around here. 4 laps is a long time. So if you get a caution now, I think you pit. I think there's somebody around here, 10th, 12th, 15th. They might stay out, but it'll be a slower car that you'll be able to get to and get by.
It's so funny for me to listen to the differing opinions of you two when it comes to time left in the race. At 10 to go, Joey's saying, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. And now there's 4 laps left, and Drew's like, you know, there's a lot of time left in this race.
It's a pretty good balance, maybe.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's typical driver, always on the go and trying to calm him down.
Shoot, I'd start this race and say, it's 50 to go, we got to go. That's my mentality.
I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry. No wonder you're so calm, Paul.
I need that. My leg's always shaking, ready to get going. That's what it's like in the race, too. I want to go. Tell you, he's staying close. He gained some time through the infield that time. This thing's not over, guys. It's 7/10 of a second. I know it looks like a lot. 7/10 can be blown away in one corner just by one mistake from the 22. So, you know, Ty's hanging in there really good.
It was over a second. Now it's down 0.6 of a second. Could that be Cindric saving fuel, taking care of his race car? Could get a caution here.
Yeah.
That's Bailey Curry.
Going to get to see if those tires.
And, you know, we've seen some of these flat, you know, right fronts or left fronts early in the race, and the tire was able to stay together. I don't know if NASCAR will throw a caution for a car that's limping around, but if there's debris on the racetrack, that can definitely change that.
But that's on the infield portion, so he's got a long way to go to get back around to pit road. 3 laps remaining as they come by the start-finish line this time. Cindric leading Gibbs by a second. Burton is 3rd. Haley is 4th. Myatt Snyder completes the top 5.
And I like watching that gap on the left side. You know, now it's 1.3 seconds. But this is where Ty Gibbs is fast, through the infield section of this racetrack. And he'll probably close that gap back up, maybe to 7/10 or so. We'll see. And then, you know, you see Austin be able to just go very fast through the bus stop and final chicane on this racetrack.
Man, I'm nervous for these crew chiefs right now being up here, whether the caution came out right now if you'd pit or not.
Dude, give me the tires.
Man, well, if Joey says he wants tires, I'm staying out. Because we've disagreed all day long.
A lot of debris, and there goes the carcass of the tire.
Yep.
Ooh, guys.
I can't imagine that we don't see a caution here. And Cindric is saying, forget about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
And there it is. Caution number 6.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, no, guys.
And likely we're going to go to overtime. The 90 of Preston Pardis is spun around.
And he's got a little fluid underneath that car as well. Boy, now this is the question, guys. It's 3 to go. You have a lot of laps on your tires. You're almost out of gas.
I feel for you, Brian. I think you're coming. I think history shows in the Xfinity Series the majority of them will come in this situation. And what you don't want to happen if you come, like if you're Austin Cindric, Ty Gibbs, you don't want to restart 20th. If you restart 8th, you're plenty good.
But how much does fuel factor in here? I mean, we're talking about tires, but we felt like they were up against it. Now you add a couple of laps, and I know a good portion of that's under caution, but what does all that mean?
Well, it's not terrible because you're able to save so much fuel under a racetrack like this. I mean, you're going to have your ignition switch off quite a bit. You only hope you don't happen what happened to Sheldon Creed last night and you can't get it refired.
What are they thinking if you're Brian Wilson, Austin Cindric in that 22 group?
How do you feel about the tire fall off? You feel like if I leave you out there, you can hold them off? Dang it. Yeah, copy that.
That means they're pitting, I guess,
what was
right?
that answer?
I don't know what that means. There's some code word over at Penske. Dang it.
Dang it means pit for 4 tires,
yeah, I
right?
think so, for sure. I think it's a no-brainer here, guys. I think you gotta come and put them on. You've been out there way too long.
Well, the other thing
you can hold
is,
them off.
I mean, if you stay out, you know what everybody behind you is going to do, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
you might have some guys stay out if you pit, but undoubtedly, if you pit or if you don't pit, everybody else is going to come down. You would think.
Oh my goodness! Did they all stay?
No,
it's still close.
Red lights
still
on.
close.
Pit
Oh
road's
my
closed.
gosh!
You got to keep your eye on the driver, Adam. My goodness.
Joey Logano was having an anxiety attack with 10 laps to go, and now we're going to overtime. Just past 7:30 on the East Coast. And if you tuned in for college basketball, DePaul and St. John's, we'll get you to that matchup on FS1 when we wrap things up from Daytona. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series getting set for overtime. Austin Cindric won the opening stage but was involved in a crash with A.J. Allmendinger. He has come all the way back, led the most laps, 28 circuits out front, and now the finish of this race could very well be in the hands of the pit crews. And you heard it there, 22 radio. Bring it to me. Likely Austin Cindric and the other front runners are going to come down pit road here.
And I think if you stay out, if anyone stays out, it's a death wish at this point.
What's going to be super interesting is we noticed Ty Gibbs had a little struggle coming down pit road. He was being super conservative into his box, out of his box, and that cost him some spots. So it'll be interesting to see if he pushes it here.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at pit road guys, the pit crew's very, very important, obviously, but the driver time also is very important on how far you can push it against that speed limit, how fast you get into that box and out of the box.
Couple of guys did stay out, Regan.
Well, Harrison Burton immediately said his tires were worn out when that caution flag came out. Needs the front tires to turn just a little bit better on that race car. On the right side of your screen up at the top, you see Ty Gibbs hitting his pit stall. They wanted to do whatever the 22 car did. That means they are pitting. He needs a little drive off the corner. The rear tires are spinning when he hits the gas. Jamie?
22 Austin Cindric had 14 laps on these tires. He said he needs to be better on that short run, wants to fire off better. He said with the cold temperatures, it is having an impact, so they'll make an air pressure adjustment to help that. They wipe the grill, they get just enough fuel. Here comes the 54, good stop by the 22.
Now, Justin Haley was the first off pit road, but he went fuel only. And the only thing I would ask there, I mean, he certainly didn't miss his pit box, right? I mean, I always think about that in a situation like this, but he wins the race off pit road. Behind him, the first on tires, Austin Cindric, and we'll also look at those drivers that stayed out because a couple made a last-ditch effort to not come down the pit lane.
I don't know what to think about that fuel-only call, man.
Yeah, that's tough to come in, and now you're going to start behind all the guys that stayed on the racetrack and then have all the guys with tires lined up right behind you who have been faster than you all day long and have tires.
Yeah, that's what you always hope. If you stay out or you're fuel only, you don't want to be the last car on old tires. You want to have some cushion, right? You want to have 4 or 5 cars in between you and the cars with the new tires. He's in a tough spot for sure. That's when you come off pit road and you go, anyone else do fuel only?
Yeah.
You just pray that somebody else did.
Ryan Sieg has never won, 33 years old, from Tucker, Georgia. He'll be in position. Myatt Snyder, 26 from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a player as well. Jeb Burton is in the mix. Brandon Jones, who had that contact coming off pit road earlier, he too is in the top 5. And Andy Lowley, bit of an underdog story there. 46 years old from Northport, New York, now living down in Atlanta, Georgia, could have a chance to win for the first time in NASCAR. And now we hear from Justin Haley, who came down pit road and did not get tires. He'll restart 10th.
Hey, so here's the deal. It's going to be a green-white checkered. I don't know that tires are gonna get you. You know what I'm saying?
The fall off.
They're cool. It's not bad.
Okay.
So it was confirmed there, a planned fuel-only stop for Justin Haley. I'm looking at the monitor here. He's going to restart 10th. Problem for him is all those guys behind him are going to be on 4 fresh tires.
That's a crew chief trying to be a salesman again is what that
is.
He doesn't have a chance. He's in big trouble right now. But I tell you what, if Sieg and Snyder can not race each other that much, they have a chance of maybe finishing 1-2. You know, there's a lot more cars than I thought that stayed out. 10 cars that stayed out. You're going to have a lot to pass. There's going to be some spun out here on the start. There's going to be cars sliding up off the racetrack.
And that's their hope, right?
Yeah.
Their hope is they go down to turn 1 and maybe not bring out a caution, but jam up those guys on tires. And then they can get away a little bit, maybe have a chance, you know?
It's going to be about turn 1 for those cars with tires. It's going to be all about turn 1. If you can pass 4 or 5 of them on the outside in there, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
And that's what's going to happen. You're going to be 4 wide going through turn 1.
But you guys
never
are
good.
You guys are acting like this is a 2-lap shootout. Let's not forget. 24 hours ago, right here on FS1, we had not 1, not 2, but 3 overtime sessions. I wouldn't be surprised at that either. And the other thought is some of those guys in the top 10 that didn't pit, close on fuel, and someone could run out of gas here as well. So a lot to think about.
They're probably good for this first start, but I bet a couple green-white checkers, couple overtimes, you could be in trouble at that point.
It's a 2-lap shootout in overtime. You get the green flag, come back around to the white flag, and once the leader gets the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it's the caution or the checkers. But if the caution comes out before the leader sees the white flag, then we'll reset for our second overtime. Unlimited attempts under this procedure.
This turn 1's going to be pretty impressive here. How many cars can we fit down there?
It's not necessarily the turn 1. It's when you get to turn 2 through those S's, because you only fit 2 wide, and that's iffy.
There's going to be some landscaping going on.
Only 2 drivers in the top 10 have ever won a race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's overtime at Daytona, presented by Credit One Bank.
Here we go, guys. There's Austin to the bottom. Got a couple on the braking zone there. Look at the 54 on the top side as they split each other through this.
Sieg goes wide. Here comes Jeff Burton for the race lead in the 10 car.
And Ty Gibbs got a great restart.
Ty got through there so good. Oh, he got tagged. Oh, my goodness.
Ty Gibbs goes off the track. Cindric trying to drive through, and now we have cars spinning. The 52 of Greg Alding, and he's not the only one. Will we get a caution?
That's going to probably be a caution.
And there it is. Double overtime is coming.
Yeah, Ty's got up to third already. He had a great restart. Right place, right time.
What a, I say experienced move by Ty Gibbs, but he's not experienced at all, but he did the right thing. He was able to find open space. When you have that much fresher tires, I told you tires would mean something. He just rolled the top there so well. Watch the 54 and the 22 right back here. If he rows back, you know, they're going to split the field. The 22 has no option but to go to the bottom. As soon as he gets by the start-finish line, boom, he's to the bottom. The 54 is looking for any hole he can get. Look as they break. They both go in there. That's what tires do. That's why they were so important to
get.
And
end up right next to each other again, right there, after passing 5 cars.
And right here, I thought this was the end of Ty Gibbs. As they came off this corner, they're all touching each other. Oh, gosh, he's in the dirt. 4 tires in the dirt. Crazy.
I'll say this. He was very fortunate because for a third time, you see him there getting off in the grass, and the grass is so wet because of all the rain we've had here in Daytona over the last week or 10 days. Typically, it'll just tear your race car up. It didn't there. Big break for Ty Gibbs. We're on board with Justin Haley.
And right now, Haley's thinking tires do matter. Yeah, it's a bad,
thanks a lot.
bad feeling right there.
Well, we saw how wide Sieg went into turn 1. I mean, that's probably a little bit old tires too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Your braking zone's changed. You're hyped up. It's a couple to go.
Sieg just sending it in there way wide. The 2 doing the same exact thing, just not as much. And look at this. That's where I told you guys it's going to get tight, and this is where it gets in trouble. I mean, look at
I was just noticing that Allgaier and Brandon Brown, family-owned team, snuck through there. That's super impressive. 5th in points right now, 4th in points right now. The way they run. A couple of these guys got tires. They're in the top 10. They're in the catbird seat.
Let me throw this at you. We haven't said much about Noah Gragson the entire day because he started the race on pit road. That last caution, he got the free pass. He's in the top 15.
Oh man.
This is crazy. Look at these guys go into the corner. Just anywhere you can go, looking for all the room. Tires locked up. Oh my goodness gracious.
And those guys with tires know they have to get it all done as soon as they can. So
you can't be patient. You can't. You have to get them all while you can. You get big chunks of cars you can get. You 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in one corner. You got to get what you can.
And Noah, like you said, has been all race long. Hasn't been able to race anybody.
Remember,
he's fresh, ready to go.
Remember when Joey said with 10 to go, we got to go. We got to go.
You really, really got to go now.
Yes.
This is when you find that 110% at this moment, where you just find that extra.
I mentioned it last night, triple overtime. Ben Rhodes going back-to-back to start the season, won last week, and it was so special for him. He was with us on NASCAR Race Hub. He said, it's the biggest win of my career until this. And you saw how close he was to winning it, and then the caution came out before he got the white.
Man, I remember this. I was kind of walking over towards pit road here, and I saw the first green and white checker, and I went back to my motorhome, and I was in bed by the last time. Like, these guys need to stop running.
Beat Sheldon Creed last night, who won here in August and won the championship a year ago.
Hey, Chris Gale, this is Drew Blickenster from the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Drew. You got me?
I do. I talked to you earlier today, and you were cautiously optimistic. It's looking pretty good for you guys. The kid has done a heck of a job. And most importantly, did you get him those peanut butter crackers?
We were as lost as you were on the peanut butter crackers, and we were trying to figure out, was that a serious thing or was it not? Butter crackers work, right? So he's doing a great job. I don't know that any of us, but until you get out here and do it, right? You don't really know. He's never done a live pit stop before. The spot on all day.
All right, Chris. Let's see if you can finish it off. That'd be pretty awesome to go to victory lane with him.
It would. Good.
Gale's been so good in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but the last few years working with Eric Jones at the Cup level. He won here a few summers ago on the oval with Eric Jones. It was his first career win. Also has won at Darlington in the Cup Series, but I've got to believe winning tonight with Ty Gibbs, the grandson of the boss on this big stage in his first career start, would be a special one for Chris Gale. Look at this. Drivers that have won in their first career Xfinity start, and at the top of the list, Earnhardt, but Terry Labonte is on there, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch. That's a nice list of Hall of Famers and champions, huh?
Yeah, all those guys are BAs for sure. they all are great race car drivers. If you can put your name on a list like that, that's saying something. That's a really cool one to be on.
Also give Joe Ruttman a pop. He was on that list. The one thing I would say about all those guys, though, they were Cup drivers that then came and won an Xfinity race.
True.
They weren't 18 years old and never executed a live pit stop before they came here.
Yeah, and I mean, as a bystander and watching racing, and you see Ty Gibbs run an ARCA car, and he's super impressive, and you always wonder, you know, the Gibbs ARCA car is darn good, and he's going up against guys that they don't have as good of equipment maybe, and then you see him come out here and do this, and it's unbelievable. He's done a great job. He's gotten better on pit road. We saw his pit road rolling time there. He came out right behind Austin, so he's improved his game, not only on the racetrack, but on pit road. All those little things you have to do to win races.
Details win races, for sure. Fast cars help, but details always win.
There he is, Noah Gragson restarting 13th. He wants at least a third overtime, because if he can pick off a few more here, he might be in position to pull off a shocker from 3 laps down to victory lane.
Dude, he's been fighting all day to get on the lead lap. He finally can get on the lead lap and start passing cars, and got a good chunk of them right there.
And I know when you're at JRM, you want more than a top 10, but he's 8 for 8 in his career. He's never finished outside the top 10 on a road course. So just getting to 10th or better would be a big night for him.
For sure. And this is poor AJ Allmendinger here. Yeah. Been riding around trying to collect points ever since his crash. His car is very, very hurt. And, you know, as you see him here, he knows what's coming. This is experience as well. He knows they're about to restart, and I'm going to just sit back here and watch him go into turn 1 and wreck again, and hopefully grab a couple more spots. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, enough green and white checkers. He can get a few more spots.
You see the 54 to 22 lined up on the bottom, right behind each other. So you get 2 cars with tires there, and then once again, everyone in front of them still with old tires. It'll be something.
Jeb Burton trying to win for the first time in his career. Brandon Jones trying for a comeback. Andy Lowley trying to complete what's been an amazing career. He's never won in NASCAR. And here we go, green in our second overtime. Look at Gibbs into the dirt.
Splitter's still on it.
He's been doing more off-roading in the last few laps under green than he has been racing on the asphalt. Gibbs up to second. Cindric is 4th.
He needs to get by right now and put some distance between him and the 22.
Gibbs is there, and he makes the pass on Jeb Burton, 54 out front at Daytona.
And a spin
behind him. 99 involved. So is the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Will it produce a caution and send us to a third overtime?
You saw the 9 of Noah Gragson. Day just continues in the grass.
Ryan Sieg was also in the middle of that.
These guys are all racing each other so hard right now. It's so much fun to watch these guys. I want to be out there.
Great comeback from Brett Moffitt. We saw him with a flat tire earlier and have to come down pit road. We're in 5th.
Yeah, trying for his second straight top 5 to begin the year. Career best last weekend.
How about Jeb Burton? Hanging in there really good. He's got those old tires on that car, running in second still. He's going to get a good finish. He might not be able to hold off the 22 with the tires here, but you know, it's looking like if this thing goes through the rest of the way, he's probably going to finish 3rd.
I wouldn't have thought he would be the best finishing Colleague car today, but that's where we are right now. He falls to 3rd. Cindric is by, and now the question becomes, can the 22 run down the 54.
It's going to be tough. We saw earlier on a short run how good that 54 was.
He's fired up. I think that was Austin. He's ready to get going in there.
Well, I was hoping it wasn't Ty.
Ooh, yeah, he's trying to outbreak him here.
Ty can't get relaxed here. He doesn't have that rabbit like we talked about out there.
Yeah.
Austin's coming, man. 1 second, 9/10 of a second, and shrinking. This is going to be something.
1 lap to go, and the next flag will end it. Should the caution come out, this race would be over. Cindric gaining ground, 0.8 of a second behind as they hit the infield. Work turns 2 and 3.
Before, this is where Ty was really good, breaking into the inner loop here.
These things just are never over till they're over. I tell you, man, you look at the clash, you look at the 9 and the 12. There was a pretty decent gap between them at one point, and it closed up a lot as that second place car has nothing to lose into these heavy braking zones. Is going to try to get everything they possibly can get.
If Austin can stay close to this second horseshoe here, he might have a chance. He's really good up onto the banking and into that backstretch bus stop.
He's running out of opportunities. The advantage back out to a 2.5 for Ty Gibbs. Out of the infield and back onto the high banks.
That's a pretty big gap there. He actually legged Cindric through there. You look at the gap now, 1.6 seconds. There's Coach. You think he's nervous right now?
Like see a pulse rate monitor on him. It's probably more than Ty's.
Imagine watching your grandchild out there on the big track doing this. What a amazing feeling that must be.
He's checking boxes, getting through all the challenging portions of this race course.
Cindric getting it all through there, hitting the turtles on the exit.
He did.
And now turns 13 and 14. The front stretch chicane for Ty Gibbs. His grandfather is a legend. And at 18 years old, he's going to win in his first career start. Here's Ty Gibbs, a victor at Daytona.
Get yourself.
Calm and cool. Unbelievable. I don't think any of us would have thought that coming in today.
And now the Hall of Famer, Joe Gibbs, can take a deep breath.
That's why you got to watch these races. You know, before the race started, we thought it was going to be a two-car race between Allmendinger and Cindric. We did not think about Ty Gibbs getting in there and doing an amazing job on new tires, working through the field. You know, I would have thought at that point, you know, as a rookie, you may not get everything you can get with those new tires to get through the field as quick as someone experienced as much as Austin is in this series. You know, he had the reigning champion behind him in that Penske Ford and was able to, you know, hold him off. Very impressive.
21 wins now for Chris Gale in the Xfinity Series, and this is one he'll never forget. Taking the boss's grandson into victory lane at the World Center of Racing. 6th driver to win in their series debut. 3rd youngest winner in the Xfinity Series. Joey behind you and Chase Elliott.
Let's watch this restart here. You see a good start. You know, 10 of Jeff Burton really able to jump out. Right there, start finish line. You can turn down, get below that double yellow. And look at the braking. Oh my gosh. Brendan Jones had no clue he was going to be there. So much speed into it. Goes through the 3rd, still hangs onto it, makes the corner. And at this point, Jeb's in trouble as they go into turn 3. He's going to outbrake him so easily.
Let's hear from a proud grandfather, Regan.
Well, Coach Gibbs, you have been a part of a number of huge wins in your racing career, your football career. Do any of them match up to this right now?
No, really, when it's your grandson like that, I said Coy has guided Ty through his whole racing career. I wish he could be here. Heather's upstairs. I'm thrilled. I don't know what to say, really. When it's your grandson, it's definitely different. And I thank the Lord for getting this opportunity. I want to thank Monster, who's been right with Ty the whole way, Rodney, Mitch, and I want to say thanks to Toyota for all they've done for us. So it's like a dream come true for our family. Pat, everybody back home, Mom, thank you. I'll be checking in with everybody. I don't know what to say.
A nearly speechless Coach Gibbs.
There are highs and lows in sports. There are highs and lows in life. The Gibbs family has experienced them all. But tonight, it'll put a tear in your eye watching this kid win in his first career start and hearing his grandfather speak about what it means to this family.
There you go. He's got it going now. Hey, your first win, you got to learn how to do burnouts, man. It's go for the grass. You can always get them spinning in there. How cool for the Gibbs family, though, man. Just obviously great people, and to see your grandkid. Imagine that. I just can't believe, to watch something like that happen in his first start. Congratulations to them.
You know, if you pick up the paper and see that Ty wins, you don't understand how good of a job he's done. Not only did he get better on the racetrack, turn by turn, lap by lap, but coming down pit road, we saw him do all the little things, like you said, Joey. Restarts. He bobbled one, but he just got better and better throughout the entire day and learned how to be up there. And he didn't get there because the other two had an accident. He would have been there with him, I think, if they were running. He got better and faster throughout the day.
Definitely. Now I think he's stuck in the grass after all this, and I think he's in total disbelief right now.
I thought a Ty would win this season in the 54 car.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be Ty Dillon. Instead, it's Ty Gibbs, and they may both win because Dillon was so strong here last week. Jamie Little is down there with Ty.
Ty Gibbs becomes the 6th driver to ever win in his Xfinity Series debut. Ty, we've seen how talented you are in the ARCA Menard Series, but you jumped up 2 classes. What you did tonight, you've never done a live stop. You've never turned a lap in one of these cars. How do you describe what just happened?
You know, I just can't thank anybody or everybody right now. Just really, this is like a dream come true to me. So, this is awesome. I can't do burnouts. That's one thing I cannot do at all. But, no, I just can't thank everybody. This is a dream come true to me. I really didn't think I had it there and kind of fought back and we won. Just thank you to Monster Energy and everybody. I don't even know what's going on.
Ty, what do you have to say about your dad, your grandfather who was just watching on that said this is one of the biggest moments in his career? What do you have to say to your family?
The family's everything to me. They do so much for me, and I just can't thank them enough. And this is just amazing. This is a dream come true. It's all the man above. And I'm sorry I'm a wreck. I didn't even think this was gonna happen at all. So, this is awesome. I can't thank everybody watching. And last week I had a terrible interview, and I just want to apologize for everybody. And I just can't thank everybody enough. This is just amazing.
It's a special place. Victory Lane for the first time in your career. And Jamie, outstanding job. Jamie Little ran like a marathon to get to him for that interview, so we appreciate the hustle. Now to Regan Smith.
Well, the second place finisher in this race, Austin Cindric. Austin, we got to talk about what happened on the end of the first stage there, the contact coming to the line, the damage to the car. I got to imagine that didn't help as the night went on.
Yeah, certainly not. Obviously, I don't want to be racing to a stage probably that aggressive. Like I said, I'd love to see a replay. Just hopefully we can avoid something like that, because obviously AJ and I, we're going to be, fighting for a win later today. So I hate to be able to do that much damage to our PPG Ford Mustang that early. It just seemed like he was trying to block, whether if he didn't know if I was there or not. It sucks it's over with, but hey, we salvaged a great day out of it. Congratulations to Ty. That's obviously really cool. That interview was really special. Congrats to him and his family. And P2, I'll take it.
Thanks, Austin.
Good start to the year for Austin Cindric, who was the youngest ever winner on a road course. And now that title belongs to Ty Gibbs. Fellas, final thoughts on a eventful night at Daytona.
Eventful, to say the least. Like I said, that's why you got to watch these races. You just don't know what's going to happen all the way down to the end of this thing. Ty Gibbs, first start, gets the win. Austin Cindric, good recovery after not having a fender, keeping it exciting. late race caution, with tires and staying out, different strategies. What a crazy day.
Yeah, being my first race up here, I thought about lap 12, this is going to be boring if it's the 16 and 22 all day long. And then we started mixing it up. Ty got better and better throughout the day. We saw him keep improving. And we saw great guys have runs at the end that we didn't expect. Kind of some strategy, mix it up. Man, I can't wait to watch next week. This Xfinity Series is pretty exciting.
Hey, we're racing tomorrow.
That's right.
We are.
Good luck to both of you tomorrow, especially Drew, as you try to sweep the first 2 races of the year. Have fun, all right?
I'm going to give peanut butter crackers every pit stop the rest of the year.
Great job by Drew and Joey. Excellent job on pit road, Regan and Jamie. Thanks to our producer, Pam Miller. Our director is Artie Kempner. It's all over in Daytona for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We'll see you next Saturday from Miami. Tomorrow, race day starts on FS1 at 1:30 Eastern Time. We're over to Fox at 2:30. Congratulations, Ty Gibbs. You're a winner in the Xfinity Series. It's time for college basketball. Here's DePaul and St. John's.